Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World Championship Series Grand Final for WCS Europe 2014 Season 1. I hope you had a great time and enjoyed the show match earlier on. Thanks to the live thread as well. They voted me for MVP in the last game. You guys are crazy. Time now for some serious business, though. It's a rival like no other. It's a WCS rival that goes all the way back to Season 2, MMA versus MC. They met in the semi-finals that time round. MC advanced. And last time out in Season 3, they met in the grand final where MMA triumphed. It's time for take number 3. Let's go and join Todd and find out what he thinks is going to go down in our grand final for WCS Europe. Show match was fun, but it's serious business time now.
Yeah, it's time for the real stuff to happen. And these two players, this is going to be a rematch. One of the big stories to follow for me here is going to be the maps. The last time that they played, it was a best of 7 as well. And 4 of the maps that were played actually are not going to be in the map pool this time. I think it was Belcher Vestige, Derelict Watcher, Whirlwind, and Aquilon Waste. Yep. The newer map pool, definitely more Protoss Blink orientated, I guess you could say. So it's going to be tough for MMA.
And of the 2 that we have left, Frost and Yonsei, they won 1 apiece last time they played as well. So not really going to get too much out of that one. Before we get into it too deeply, let's just show you the route to the final of these 2 players. They have had very, very different routes, it has to be said. MMA in Season 3 went 14-1 in maps on his way to the final. That's right, he lost 1 single map. This time round, 15-10. It's been a much harder road to the grand final. As you can see, he's come through the lower half of the bracket with wins over Snoot 3-1 and a 3-2 win over Sand, despite the fact that he was 2-0 up at one point. MC, likewise, has come through the upper part of the bracket against Stardust 3-1 and Jack G also 3-1. So MC versus MMA, take 3. There's a lot on the line here, not just $25,000 up for grabs for first place, not just 2,000 points for WCS, which is all very, very important, of course, but there's a number of quirky little incidents between these 2. MMA currently has 6 major titles to his name. MC has 5. If he wins, they tie up, they're 6-6. If he loses, MC has gone 6 consecutive Premier finals and lost them all. He would be the actual Kong. I think that would actually overtake J-Dog in terms of how many Premier Tournament finals he's lost in a row. So there's lots on the line, lots of little, tiny little stories that are going to weave between these 2. But what can we really take from their previous matches that we've seen in WCS?
I think, you know, MC, he has his one style. He likes to bring on the aggression. He likes to do unique builds on each map. And last time, MMA's defense was good enough for him to secure the win. It was, spoiler alert, he won 4-2. And this time, if he's able to do the same, I do think he's going to have a very good chance at winning. But like I said, the maps are going to play a very important part of that. And MC yesterday really looked on point versus Jack G. I think he was more impressive versus Jack G than MMA was versus Sam.
Okay, Apollo made a remark at the start of the quarterfinals that MMA hadn't really shown us the kind of form he showed us in Season 3. But then in the quarterfinal, he just suddenly found a new gear and went up a completely new level. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think MMA from round to round has been playing better every single time. And if he plays better than he did versus San yesterday, it's going to be some pretty impressive game. I know I'm going to be watching backstage. Funka is probably going to be the most excited observer in the world because he's always cheering for Terran. And yeah, just can't wait, man.
All right, okay. We've got a little bit more to discuss on these 2. They go head to head. But first, it's time to get their thoughts on their rivalry. Here is the story of MMA and MC.
Very easy, so I don't remember.
I didn't practice against Terran, so he was so lucky. You know what, he's like Musin, or when he training one build, he can doing perfect, but he don't have brain, like brain dead. Always just same build and no thinking. Like Musin.
얘는 다 가졌어요. 없는 게 없어요. 네, 상금 랭킹 1등이고 집 있고. 근데 여자친구가 없어요. 3 준우승? 세컨드? 3 세컨드?
Runner-up.
Runner-up. So I think this season for runner-up.
promise you 4-1 because 4-0 is little sorry for him, so I will give him 1 score and just crush him.
4-0.
Why?
I wanna your mental broken and I will retire you.
It's English?
Yeah, you understand. Everyone understand.
I see. I see.
Absolutely terrific. I think, you know, we've mentioned the fact that this is a very strong rivalry, but there's also a very strong friendship there, and we saw some of that. But now the gloves are off, it's time to go head-to-head. There's going to be none of that fun stuff right now. It's very serious for both of these players. They both want to win this title. You heard MMA yesterday in the interview said, I want to win all 3 seasons this year. That's big talk.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, the interesting part about this is you can see these players should be really friendly outside of the game and before it takes place. But once the game begins, there is no friendship, nothing, just winning. That's the only thing that matters. And these players, they are very good at that. Once the game starts, they're not going to be making any gift to each other.
Okay, it's almost time, ladies and gentlemen, to get into the grand final of Season 1, 2014 for the World Championship Series for StarCraft 2. It's a repeat of our Season 3 final between MMA and MC. Over $650,000 won in career earnings between the two of them, and one of them's going home with another check for $25,000. Can MMA make a repeat for 2 in a row, or can MC finally win his first WCS title at the 3rd time of asking? Let's find out with our commentary team of Apollo and Kalaris.
Thanks very much, guys. Paul is right. Regardless of who takes this grand final, there is a fantastic, fantastic position for one of them. 2 times in a row, or MC finally breaks that curse.
And which one can you really honestly pick as a clear favorite here? MC showed awesome games against Jack G coming into this final. MMA has just grown stronger and stronger with each round that has passed. This is so difficult to call.
Coin flip here to determine who picks the first map. No vetoes in this best of 7, so we are guaranteed to see every single map.
So, just before we get into this, remember the play styles of both players as we choose the maps. MC is capable of absolutely everything, and that is not an exaggeration. He can do proxy Stargate, fast third nexus, anything. Anything. MMA will be playing reactionary and the defensive player in this series. If he finds out what MC's doing, he'll have a better chance of stopping it, like he had in the previous season where he beat him 4 games to 2.
And also, big contrast between MMA's previous series against San, where San was focusing more on macro, I would say, compared to a guy like MC, who is really going to bring the thunder very, very quickly. And of all maps to start things on, Altazim's Stronghold, wow.
MC still in good mood from that 3v3 series. Altazim Stronghold, more difficult to execute, super high aggression. It's the largest map we have in the map pool. Easier to play defensive on. This is a good start for MMA. Habitation Station, we saw the gold base being taken yesterday from MC to do the Oracle into Void Ray all-in. Daedalus Point can be more difficult to play on here for MMA. And then Yonsu for MC. That's where he's going to be loving that map in the middle of this best of 7.
And MMA, from seeing that series yesterday, I mean, as you pointed out, things like the Gold Base and Habitation Station, MMA all day long, watching that guy actually just study and hone down on exactly what MC was doing in his most previous series. Very, very important here. MMA kind of gets a good idea of what's going to happen, but as you said before, MC can still play any style.
So where the maps are sorting out now, just the last 2 times these have played. Remember, this is the 3rd time in the World Championship Series Europe that these have met. First of all, in Season 2, in the semi-finals, when MC denied MMA from getting to that finals. And then again, most recently, in Season 3, just before the new year dawned, where we saw MMA 4 games to 2. In every single map that was played, MC did a different type of aggression, a different type of all-in. A massive attack towards MMA. When an MMA initially lost, he looked like Jack G. He fell apart and wasn't able to keep up with MC. When he won, he was reading into it and was counter-attacking. And remember, actually, Clarence, if you remember precisely who won what game and where, MMA last season was up 3-0.
Yeah.
And then he started to let things slip. And if we look at his record so far this season, as Red Eye mentioned, 15 wins to 10 losses in map scores, despite being in the final. There's been a lot of times this season where he has also been very close to being eliminated from this tournament. He must not allow any opportunities to be present to MC.
But then on the flip side of that, we've seen in these past couple of series a very, very potent MMA, right? I mean, of course, he was always going to have a little bit of trouble against San, but that's San. That's the #1 WCS ranked player in the world right now. So for MMA to just say, all right, okay, I'm going to advance to the finals through you, pretty impressive result there for him in the round of 4. But now he goes up against a completely different Protoss.
And, you know, remember everyone at home to make sure to tell everybody to watch this and get the hashtag WCS on the go within Twitter and just get it known out there that we are about to have an epic final. Because remember, these two players have come from the beginning of StarCraft 2. They are legends from the get-go of our game and our history within StarCraft 2. MMA won BlizzCon 2011, where GSL was held. He then went on to win the Blizzard Cup, Intel Extreme Masters, an MLG, an Iron Squid. And then, yes, he did have a difficult time come 2012. But even though he was playing a very difficult period of his life, he managed to climb back up to a back-to-back final right here, and he could be a back-to-back champion. Likewise, MC, on the other side, has had his ups and downs. He started off as the biggest and best, the most awesome Protoss player we've seen in StarCraft 2. He's still the most highest earning StarCraft 2 Protoss player that we have, StarCraft 2 player overall.
In general, yeah.
He won 2 GSLs. He's won multiple tournaments, has played in more tournaments than I think anyone else can even come close to.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of Premier tournaments this guy has attended is absolutely staggering. And it shows his work ethic, it shows his ability, it shows the fact that he can still be on the road time and time again, but still bring out the best of performances. But he's had so many second places as of late. Yeah. Can he claim that first place?
Since May 2012 was MC's last victory. That is not a boss toss record to have so many top 4 finishes, to have consecutive second place finishes either. That is not good enough for him. He's hungry and he wants this. Say more than MMA wants a 2-time victory.
And we'll find out now as we get into game #1 in our grand final for WCS Europe, MC versus MMA. And up to the top right-hand corner are Red Terran, the current reigning WCS Europe champion. Representing Team Acer, it is MMA.
He is looking scary right now, Colaris.
Hungry for it, but as is this guy. Down to the bottom left-hand corner are Blue Protoss, looking for a championship after 2 years of second places. Give it up for MC.
And these players fighting for a lot of money on the line, but also a lot of WCS points on the line. World Championship Series points for the year to end up with a high-placing finish for the global finals, where, remember, both of these players did represent the Europe region there at BlizzCon last year. We saw MMA finish 9th out of the complete year of 2013, followed by MC, actually, in 10th. So they were pretty well off for themselves going into BlizzCon, but at the tournament, they actually both went out in the first round. So not quite representing Europe in the best way we wanted them to.
Maybe next time, maybe next time. But you're right, when it comes to the points, one huge thing here is that MC currently ranked around 8th. Currently, if he was able to win this and bag himself another 1,000 points, that would put MC in first place.
Yeah. And if you think about last year too, he was a player that joined really late and was late with points and then had to do well in Season 2 and Season 3, where he got 2 second place finishes and of course Season finals to bag up some points here. Looking at the 2 builds though, MC, I really think, has another card playable to him in this series, because yes, in the last, 10s, 20s worth of games that he's played, he's been very ultra aggressive, but he has the option today to play the opposite style as well, because MMA, I know for a fact, he's approaching this with the words, what is this guy going to cheese me with? Is it Stargate, Twilight, Robo? Which one are you going to do, MC? Come on, MC, tell me which one you're going to do. And MMA is going to be, thinking along those lines. So MC to open up here with the Nexus first on the biggest map of all, it's a strong statement, a strong start for this series.
I think the clan tag for MC of "Do You Know" is very apt when it comes to this series. MMA, he's going to know pretty soon with that Reaper that's now heading out. Needs to get in there and have a look around. Oh, but he's actually going to come back and kill the probe first. That buys MC a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, if he leaves without the Reaper, the probe could go in there, start harassing things while the reactor's building on the back. So he doesn't want any of that nonsense, just kills it and then disappears. And also knows, and peace of mind, that there isn't going to be a probe out somewhere building a pylon for a Stargate or something along the lines out there. But MMA has no information on what MC's doing yet. This Reaper is the only thing that can give it him.
And unfortunately for him, he's going to scout him last as he scouted up to the top left-hand corner. Didn't find him there. Bottom right, he's not there. Cross positions confirmed for this match. So, I mean, what a way to start off this best of 7. Cross positions, Altazim Stronghold, the biggest map. We could happily see a very, very long game, but when it's MC, you never know. You never know.
So, double Zealots and have been chrono boosted out here, followed by a Stalker. And MC didn't really know the follow-up to what MMA was going to do here. So it could be Factory, could be extra barracks. MMA usually plays extra barracks, but has chosen Factory in this game. Is going to poke up here and have a look about what his opponent's doing. So sees a Zealots, he's a finished Nexus, and is already saying, okay, this guy's opened up Nexus first on the large map here. And I can at least know there's no rush coming immediately to him.
Yeah, and so...
he doesn't want to lose that to the Mothership Core.
It's very close. He has to jump down here and recharge a little bit of health before he pokes back up, because that Mothership Core...
He's going to lose it.
That's a little bit sad there for MMA to start things off.
Yeah, that's a nice little victory there for MC. He's opened up with a very strong economic build. He's got quite a few units out with it as well, spending chrono boost in it, and then denying the form of scout for MMA. Is able to throw down this Stargate and not even have to worry about keeping units at home. Because he's got the Reaper. What are you going to be at home for? You can actually move out at this point.
Yeah, so MMA is now going to have to solidify his defenses for a little bit of a poke, but it can always be a little bit hard for MC to really do a huge amount. Although 2 Stalkers, 2 Zealots on a Mothership Core.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. That Widow Mine, though, is the saving grace. Very, very little that you're going to get really done there.
He could kill the Stalker if MC isn't paying attention here.
Yeah, and that's a nice pickup. And then that would deter him from really doing anything. It's just on the edge. Oh, but pulls back.
Yeah, and the pulling back at this point doesn't really make much sense. Why would you walk across the map and then pull back anyway? Are you trying to threaten or see if there's any units coming across the map or something like that? So I guess it is a form of scouting. But more importantly, a lot of Protoss players move out like that. And then suddenly, what happens if there's going to be a Widow Mine that gets dropped in my natural or my main base and I don't have any units to defend? But I think it was more than anything just a bit of scouting, and he may start to play a little bit more defensive with the positioning of his units here.
And despite MMA, it's already spotting that it was Nexus first, his opponent was playing a little bit more economical. MMA still realizes that there's a potent threat and even drops a scan and sees that Stargate. So he's already got Widow Mines positioned in mineral lines. He's got his Marines positioned over in his main base. So MMA shouldn't be taking too much damage from here.
Yeah, he's MMA's got a medivac without anything in it. He's moving across the map. Is this free scouting? Is this... did he forget the Widow Mine? I'm not sure, but there is 2 Oracles. He's actually going back. I think he forgot the Widow Mines.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a blunder there from MMA. I think we've seen him do that once or twice before in WCS Europe, but that's by the by. This Oracle's now going to fly in, actually sees the positioning of all of this tech as well as the Marines, so flies on out on Void Rays in production. So this is looking very, very similar to what he was doing on Habitation.
With Void Rays, let's have a look at MC's SCV probe count, 47. He's going to throw down a lot of gateways.
Yeah.
He stopped his probe production, and if he continues to build Void Rays, he's actually going to try and break MMA off 2 bases here. A different type of build from MC. It obviously shows it shows a lot of similarities to a lot of other of his strategies, but we haven't seen this precise build before from him, or at least in recent time. A scan.
Ooh.
Misses the Void Ray. Sees 3 gateways.
In a relatively hidden, in inverted commas, position. So
but
you
imagine
could
if a Nexus had gone down and then 3 gateways.
Yeah.
Because there are more gateways that have been thrown down inside the main base. So if you see that 3 gateways inside the main base, that's 450 minerals. The equivalent of a Nexus. So a Nexus could have gone down and then those 3 gateways. MMA needs to identify what exactly he's playing against. Otherwise, this could be a big sting.
And this is where that Marine's going. He's going straight to the 3rd base, but the Oracles are going to catch.
Yeah, you've got to stop this Marine.
Yeah.
You've got to stop that Marine.
Yeah, nicely done.
MMA still tucked on 2 bases, but he's up a ramp. But the problem is he's got no bunkers and doesn't really know what he's playing against. He's got a medevac moving out, and he still needs more info. On a big map like this, there's a lot of builds that have like Oracle 3 base builds. You've seen it. We saw Bling use it in the round of 32 against Happy, and Oracle onto fast 3 bases. He's taking his third. Little does he know there's like 8 gateways behind this. Oracle's Void Rays. MMA is going to find himself in a bit of trouble here, Kolaris. He doesn't have, well, he does have Stim, but no combat shields. He's losing Marines already.
And they're all coming out one at a time. This medevac can't really do a whole lot. He's sat on top of his production. Everything is lining up perfectly here for MMA.
2018 on supply.
Oh, dear me. This is just brutal at the start of this series.
Now he realizes he sees the Stalkers, he sees the Pylon and the Probe. He sees in the middle of the map as well units coming across Void Rays Mothership Core, but he spotted it, but it's too late at this point. This is a very, very... Can he hold this? I think it's almost impossible.
A triple CC once again against MC is going to really hinder him for MMA. I mean, this is going to be so hard. Trying to get up this defense as quickly as he possibly can do. Even repositioning his buildings because he knows he needs a lot of room here. But look at that army that MC has accrued.
3 bunkers about to complete. 2 Winter Mines are active. He needs to get rid of those. Is MC going to make this what seems an almost impossible hold here? 78 army supply to 32. That is so big. That's such a big difference.
He's going to overwhelm. There's so much here. He has so many force fields, Guardian shields as well. Those Void Rays charge up. The bunkers are going to hold on for just a little bit, but the force fields wrap around the entirety of that bunker up the left-hand side. The right ones end up falling as well. Even more bunkers to seal in, force fields to seal in those units. And there you go. GG. Game number 1 goes to MC.
And he does not see that one coming a mile off there. And MC's planned, and I'm pretty sure he's got a planned build for each map coming into this. He executes. He uses, he kills.
No one can play greedy against MMA, against MC, even on a map like this. Even on Ultrazine Stronghold in cross positions, MC is still gonna bring that aggression to you and absolutely rip you down.
And remember that this was MMA's map, the largest map in the map pool, where he thought he could be safe against any type of super aggressive builds that could come out from MC, but it doesn't matter, MC kills him anyway. So not the best of starts here for MMA, and especially if you keep in consideration their last 2 meetings, MMA usually wins the first set or so. This is a good start for the boss toss for sure. Very good start.
Yeah. Very nice. Now we move on to Habitation Station, a map where we've already seen MMA we've already seen MC try a lot of aggressive stuff and actually work quite well. So MMA equally has to be very careful on this map.
MMA's key to victory is surviving past the 15-minute mark.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
We said it before. We said it before the show even started. This is how MC is going to kill MMA. Those first 15 minutes, that is his window. If MMA survives, then...
He's usually not just going to survive, he'd survive with an advantage.
Yeah. Yes.
Advantageous position. Because MC... commits resources, upgrades, and whatever to an attack, which isn't, longevity in his play. So that's what MMA needs to do. Going over to Habitation Station. Is that gold base? Is that going to be a part of MC's plan?
It could be. We saw how well it fueled him in yesterday's games. But now we can get into it. Game number 2 for the WCS Europe Grand Final between MMA and MC. MC currently 1 game up in this best of 7, as we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner, the man who is currently defending his championship, his title here in Europe. Representing Team Acer, it is MMA. And up to the top right-hand corner are Blue Protoss. Representing Global Esports Management, currently 1 game up, it's MC.
Unlike when we were talking a little bit about Jackchi's strategies yesterday, it's quite important to open up with Reapers. Otherwise, if you don't and you try to risk it, without having a Reaper, which is quite a fast unit for the early stages, the fastest unit for Terran, to be able to go in and scout, you are risking it because you don't have the option to find out what could be coming your way. The upside of it and the benefit of that is, of course, that you have a better economy, because you don't need to worry about taking gas early or build the Reaper early. So I would probably imagine that for the majority of this series, MMA will be opening up with a Reaper every single game. And if he doesn't stop doing it, he's taking risks.
Yeah.
Are risks what you want to be taking against MC? I think Jackchi can answer for us, Kolaris.
Yeah, going out of the round of 4, there is our answer. Unfortunately for him, and MMA, you're right, that's the way he does things here. He absolutely has to, but equally he cannot play as greedy as we were seeing, someone like Jackchi playing with that triple command center. MMA tried it in game number number one on the biggest map didn't work. Now he has to evaluate that position, has to say all of these maps are a little bit smaller, maybe a bit more of a defensive setup will work out here.
Well, MC's already taken double gases here, which start to open up the options and possibilities for all the different Protoss techs. So Stargate, Twilight, Robo, all opened up here. Regular gateway attacks, could be Sentry Heavy, yada, yada, yada. Just opens up all his options here, rather than looking to take a fast expansion. That's the first thing that MMA is going to spot with his SCV, which is moving across here. And with this SCV Scout, the reason why you do it is, imagine if there was Chrono Boosted Zelda or something which is skipped around or something, you could go in and actually see what MC is doing before you need to commit your decision with what the Reaper's going to do.
But also I love the synergy of this SCV Scout that we normally see with a Reaper, which is if your opponent still has a Zealot and you actually want to go for something like an Engineering Bay block on the natural, for example, doing that is equally as easy when you have this Reaper to actually help that out as well. But hey, MC with this little sneaky probe up to the north.
Seeing another Stargate maybe? Gold base going to be taken. Third pylon's there, not on the gold base. Could see a double pylon maybe from MC. Could build one in the main base, trick the Reaper, then put another one down. He is looking around everywhere, obviously, the Reaper. He's got to be careful of what MC is capable of.
Definitely.
And it is going to be barracks follow-up here. So it should be, I'd imagine, looking at 3 barracks, quite common if you're not going to go for the factory here. Stargate has been placed down from MC. This looks so far along the same pathway it would be to take the gold base for this Oracle Void Ray attack. The Reaper's going to poke up here. And I'm already having flashbacks to Belshir Vestige, if you remember, when he poked up, didn't see the probe, then it built pylon, then it built the proxy Stargate, then he lost. But that probably will be for the gold base to be taken from that.
He's going to try and find out if there's a Nexus up here. Reaper pokes forward, sees the lack of Nexus, and even gets out with its life.
Yeah.
So that's a good pickup there for him.
So lack of Nexus already is screaming for some form of aggression. One base DT, one base Stargate, one base Twilight Council. Twilight Council less so, and also the Robo. So most likely going to be the Stargate. Is he going to click that this is the gold base being taken yet? He does have the Xel'Naga Tower, but doesn't see anything from that yet.
I guess eventually when he sees probes being transferred there, but does he even see that? The Reaper's now going to go check up there. I mean, there's no other alternative. It has to go check. Oh, it sees no Nexus. You've got to answer this.
Well, he's going to go in now, and if he spots the Stargate, he can probably click, but he's looking around the back. Nothing there. Don't you dare kill a probe.
Yeah, he doesn't want to anger those little probes. They could come off land and be feisty and kill him, but there we go.
Sees the Stargate. So he has the option to throw now his Marines into the Mineral Alliance. And he's got an SCV checking the gold base, so there's actually a bit of a double scout coming on here by the looks. That's a nice pickup. So now he knows what he's playing against, like we saw MC do against Jack G. But does it matter?
Exactly. This is the thing, is that MMA from here now has all the information available to him that he would ever need to know that this is almost the exact same build.
And without a turret, Kalaris, double Oracles are very powerful against these Marines. It doesn't take just 5 Marines anymore. You need like 8, 9, higher.
Exactly. I mean, 15, like the majority of them are all in the main base, right? They are slightly separated.
That is a little bit lucky. These Marines are very close to each other here.
Yeah, so you can group them all up, but if he finds a little bit room in the natural, then that would be nice for MMA.
If he'd gone with the Oracles to the natural, then there was nothing there, so.
All right, so Void Ray is now in production. These 2 Oracles trying to fly around and find the room, but that's so many Marines.
And he's getting turrets building now, so far this has been pretty solid. MC's going to come around and try to get to the natural. He's already building his second bunker. He's identified what he's going to play against.
I'm very interested to see how MMA is going to play out this entire game, because he has all the building blocks in place to know every step of the game for the next 8 minutes or so.
Yeah, he's even got the SCV still in the Xel'Naga Tower, by the way, too, so sees any approaching units.
Yeah.
And so far, perfect. It's actually a perfect defense so far from MMA. He's lost just the Reaper and the SCV. That's it, really. And he's got turrets building in the right place. Stim's almost done.
Covering that production as well. Very nice.
The gateway explosion for MC coming in. And you will be looking to follow this up shortly, properly.
But even still, even if you know as a Terran that you know what your opponent's going to be doing from here, those Void Rays are going to take down bunkers very, very fast.
Goodbye.
Pokes in and gets that.
And the turret too. That's he definitely needs a turret there. He needs to protect the tech lab and the reactor and the barracks.
Needs to keep that production high against something like this, that's for sure. Even catches maybe an SCV there.
Yeah, you can afford to lose these SCVs. It's a part of the insurance policy with this build. It's fine. You can lose a couple. Sorry, guys. You're not going to be more useful in this game, but it's fine so far.
And then MC starts to throw down pylons.
Here we go. There's the Void Rays coming across the map. The unit's moving across. So now he sees the unit movement. He sees the army in position. And this is the point where you pull everything down. You don't need anything in the main base anymore. You've got turrets in place, right?
Yeah, so you just go straight for that natural. Protect this. If this bunker position, if this ramp gets broken, busted...
If this defense fails for MMA, then I'm questioning that how do you beat this?
Yeah.
This has been almost a perfect defense. He's lost, what, 3 SCVs?
And he's
got 4 bunkers, a turret, and stim. He's going to have +1 attack. He's having Widow Mines. If he still loses to this, then this build is insane.
And he now revelates everything on that natural, so he's always going to know the army movement, the army positioning. A lot of Zealots going to be warped in here to start tanking. When we saw this before, there was a lot of Stalkers in place to try and bring down those bunkers fast. It's going to be up to the Void Rays to really bust down that location while everything will be tanked. He's actually used Envision. He can pick off some of these Widow Mines. That's a good start here for MC.
Yeah, no combat shields either, only just now starting. These Void Rays are going to try and drag the army out of position, chip away a little bit.
Huge army supply advantage as well. 60 to 43 in favor of MC here, who, because he had that gold base behind all of this, it really fuels this so strongly.
There's 5 bunkers, +1 attack is finished. This shouldn't be broken.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be broken. The SCVs are coming off as he's realizing that MC has to go shortly here. He's brought the right necessary amount of time with the SCVs. He mined for a long time. Now he's decided to bring them off. They weren't not mining. He's a little bit supply bot because he's concentrating very heavily on this defense. MC's building up. It's army, and he's gonna go for this kill.
And that's a lot of Zealots to tank all of this. How well is this going to work out? One of those bunkers going to fall pretty rapidly. Time Warp as well to slow down those SCVs from the repair. One bunker ends up falling. Still a lot of Zealots under this, but quite a bit of them have already died off. There's only 5 Zealots remaining to tank for everything here. 2 bunkers on the left-hand side still remain. Army supplies have been evened up. MMA is going to be able to hold for now.
He holds, and this is a pretty good hold right now. A lot of that took a long time for MC to build up. Granted, MMA lost a lot, but he also saved a lot of units, bringing them back. He's got Widow Mines in position, and that's a pretty good hold. The second wave is not going to be as hard for MMA to hold, so you just need to keep on doing the same thing. Remember, +1 attack's on the way. If he gets to 1-1 against 0-0, there's no way MC's breaking in. MC's already thinking about a transition. He's like, oh my god, this is not going to work.
Wow, great hold from MMA so far, but it's not over just yet.
1 free bunker, that's pretty big. That's a nice pick off there. He can't quite get into the second one.
That missile turret would start firing, I think, a little bit.
Combat shield. Look how many Marines there are. More and more Widow Mines.
He knows what's up, man. He knows what's up.
36 Marines.
Jeez. They're going to tear down this army so well with +1 weapons at least.
He's so confident he's going to drop.
Wow. Okay, MMA doing this very nicely, showing us the way now to defend this.
I think MC might have caught that, which is why he's moving with his full Void Rays, which is a little bit unfortunate there for MMA, but this is good for MC if he's able to get it, which he should be able to. Oh, perfect movement. Perfect from MC.
34 probes to 38 SCVs, and he does see it.
Boost.
Run away. Actually, I don't think Void Rays can ever catch up to that if he keeps on boosting, right?
No. He almost had it. He could have had it, but now he can't.
So many Widow Mines in defense.
Can come back to defend. But 2 Void Rays are massive in bringing down the bunkers, so this is only helping out MMA, really.
Yeah, I mean,
chase the rabbit.
The production tab has really told us everything. MMA has always had a lot in production, despite the supplies being, MC favored technically.
Yeah. And this is also acting as a scout here, remember. He sees no third base being taken, so he knows that MC's just still powering away. Remember, one of MC's key strengths is that he tricks you. At this point, you're like, yeah, he can't come again. Come on, he's not going to attack again.
Yeah.
Surely not. Let's go salvage my bunkers and move out. And then he kills you. But MMA's not falling for anything now. He's making sure, and he knows that's how MC likes to play. There are so many Widow Mines.
Yeah, and with this heavy Zealot composition, when you go for the assault here as MC, you're going to flood in. You're not going to split up Zealots here and there. The Marines will just kill them off before they even reach the Widow Mines. MMA has got such a great setup here to actually defend against this. He's even loading up 2 extra medevacs now.
This has been a little bit cheeky now because he only needs to defend, remember, but he is going to, well, no, actually he's coming back, okay. No, where are you going?
He's going.
So all you got to do, if you drop 60 Marines on the gold base, it's not really going to be defended. He has to either attack. He basically forces MC's hand. MC has to attack when this drop comes in. He can't stop this.
Yeah, this is a great little maneuver here by MMA, really putting a timer on everything.
Scans his opponent's army, realizes, and here we go, the Widowmine's burrow.
He unburrowed them as well, so the hallucinations didn't soak up any of those shots. And now the Zealot's going to try and flood forwards. A lot of damage is going to get done to them, though, quickly here by these Widowmines, although a bit of friendly fire will kill some of those Marines at the front as well. This Void Ray is actually doing a huge amount of damage, but the army supply is still massively in favor of MMA. But a lot of that army is over the other side of the map.
He's killed his opponent's economy. He's going to try and defend from one base now. The natural's gone. Widowmines are going to recharge, though, and there's no detection, remember?
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
So, in a minute, everything's going to blow up.
Ooh, imagine if he just stayed over that for the whole time, but the Marines are going to chase him away. MMA has put himself in a great position, not only with the drops, but also chasing away this army.
Yeah, and he's very confident at this point. He's got 1-1. He's got a lot of Marines. He brought back 16 Marines and 2 medevacs. Didn't overdo it. Didn't drop 3 still at the same time. And with all these Widowmines, it's over. GG, 1-1.
Wow, nice defense there by MMA, tying it up. But again, if you allow a Terran that much room to build up that kind of defense when they know exactly what's going on, MMA shows us the way.
Yep, shows us the way. And that was as perfect as you could get. That was perfect. That was... The defense didn't have any mistakes. He scouted, he spotted, he stopped it. That is the most important part of MMA's games against MC, and that's how he's going to be able to beat him today. MC, as well as that was executed, I think probably he's going to be looking at masking his gameplay a little bit more. Cannot be as easily readable, because the more readable you are as a Protoss player, and if you let the Terran know, that's when you're going to get stopped.
And I feel that with that kind of opener as a Stargate opener, if he were to do something like that to try and make it look as if he was doing something similar to game number 1 and 2, it's a little bit harder to really mask and transition from something like that into a normal game, because Stargate openers don't really provide you as much. Like if you had like a Void Ray, a Show Void Ray, or something, maybe a hallucinated Void Ray, let's go crazy. So
definitely hashtag mind games from this point on.
Gotta be.
Absolutely. MC's going to be playing some trickery himself from here, because he knows that MMA, when he knows what's coming, has a pretty solid defense, Kalaris, as we just saw.
It was strong. He knew so early on, and really was able to react accordingly. That's the play of a champion. That's how you do that. MMA, very strong, ties it up. Now we're loading up on Daedalus Point. We don't see it too much in WCS Europe, but because we have all 7 maps available to us here in this best of 7, we now...
That was the best defense. That was the best.
Sick.
That was perfect. It was just on spot.
Yeah, especially since you end up having a little bit less of an army at the beginning compared to your Protoss opponent, but he held strong. The bunker's made up for it. Let's get into game number 3 now. MMA versus MC, 1-1 apiece here in the grand final of WCS Europe. So we load up onto Daedalus Point, and spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, tying up the series, our WCS Europe reigning champion. It is MMA. And up to the top left-hand corner, our blue Protoss. Representing Global Esports Management, it is MC.
Yesterday, MC did a proxy Stargate on this map. The finals of Season 3, he did a 1-base blink all-in against MMA. These are the type of strategies that MC uses on this map. Epic.
Thanks, Sean.
So I didn't include that last word in there for everyone out there.
I think in the end, though, you know, MMA, he studies his opponent. He knows the kind of thing that could happen here. So opening up with this barracks with the Reaper once again, perfect choice here from Camp MMA.
And then on MC's side, thinking about it, when you know your opponent is playing the same thing over and over and over again, he becomes predictable, and you can start to create really strong strategies against that. Again, we see MC with double gases here. If he knows that MMA, is going to be opening up with the Reaper Expand, scouting, this is where MC can start to play those mind games, to trick his opponent, to almost blind counter his opponent, which we may see develop throughout this series.
Yeah, he gets in, he sees the same opener. He's probably anticipating, you know, straight to a few more barracks with the factory follow-up from there on out after command center, etc., etc., etc. But There's a few things I've already learnt from this series, Sean. One is that MMA, if you give him the information required, he will hold on strong. 2, MC is he's relentlessly aggressive as always. And 3, casting MMA versus MC is hard to say the right name in the right position sometimes.
I know it is tricky. Not as bad as way back when at DreamHack 2010. Mana versus Nama was a little bit difficult to do.
Yeah.
We did see MC being gas with 2-on-2 for the majority of the time, as soon as the symbol was built up, and then went in 3-on-3 a little bit later on, which does fuel his minerals a little bit more than the usual. And there is the command center inside the main base. Notice, not risk. No risks. Don't need to put it on the low ground. Don't need to risk units running past the bunker and causing you difficulties. Just put it on the high ground. It's a little bit less efficient when it comes to income, of course, because you have to build the orbital in the main base, pick up, go down. You waste a bit of time, but overall, it's safer.
I think that has to be MMA's mantra for this final. It's no risks, only trophies. That's what I want to do here in this series. That'd be the sweet spot here for MMA. As Stargate once again from MC. He's loving this Stargate play so far.
So this seems like it's just going to be a Stargate Oracle expansion play from him. So it's not super committal to one base, even though I say that and I do hold my breath at the same time. He should be looking to grab an expansion because, first of all, MMA is going to go in, see, oh my, what is it this time, MC? What are you doing this time? And he should be just looking to expand, but he'll be looking to do damage with the Oracle. It's going to trick MMA a little bit because, of course, he's going to be like, all right, what's he going to be using this time? The Reaper's important to get the Scout. And it looks like he...
Sneaky guy.
Could be able to jump in here. Is he going to go to the natural first? Have a look at the expansion or straight to the main? Okay, there he is. So he spots it. So he knows that a tech structure is down and then the expansion. He doesn't know if it's Stargate or Twilight. So it could be DTs, could be Blink, could be this Oracle.
And once again, with the way he's going to position his Widow Mines, once they come out, I mean, this could be shut down. But we saw MC even in the previous games keep his Oracles really, really well alive against even very strong defensive Widow Mine setups. So MMA, I think what the best thing for him here is like, wait, he pokes him with this Reaper and has a look around, and he's actually going to see the Stargate. Yeah. He just he should put Widow Mines in random arbitrary positions and hope it connects whilst using the Marines for the defense, I feel.
He's got one on the natural ramp, but that's not going to be too useful unless he repositions it really fast. And he's got the Marines inside the main base hit. But he knows it's an Oracle expansion build, which is quite important. MC's throwing down the Twilight immediately, though.
Ooh, hello.
So just keep that in mind right now. We'll see what he's going to use that for. Most likely Blink for a massive attack on the natural because of how wide open it is. But at least SCVs haven't died off here, and that is, again, a perfect defense, but lack of mining, which ideally helps MC, if you think about it. Sure, he's not losing SCVs, but he's also not mining from that expansion too, which slows down everything when it comes to MMA's production.
Oof. Arbitrary position on that ramp. Not quite arbitrary, but still could have caught that if it had gone a little bit further.
MC's game plan, slow this guy down.
It's behind the refinery! Oh, he did this last time!
MC's game plan, slow his opponent down with that Oracle, then finish him with the Blink play. Is this going to be aborted now? A gas comes down. We got to keep following. He's built another Oracle. But that's the strategy, or was the strategy at least. He would have thrown down a lot of gateways, would have, just walked over with a lot of Blink Stalkers and try to end the game fast. May still go for it here. May just use that third gas to power his high gateway count, as you do need a high amount of gas income.
Drops a scan in the main, sees a couple more gateways being added on.
That's 4 gateways. That's kind of high for this state of game. Forge, Robo, something along the lines like that at this point. You shouldn't be going up to 4 gateways this fast usually. So I'm pretty sure that MMA is definitely going to be on his toes here to what MC's going to do, but he doesn't know exactly what's coming yet.
And the problem here for MMA is there's so much room for MC if he wanted to throw down extra gateways across his entire main and natural. So much room that MMA would need to scout. He sees the amount of Stalkers. That has to be a...
And also he spots only 3 gases, not 4. That's pretty big. Because when you spot 3 gases like this and not 4, as a Protoss player who's playing a normal game, he should be taking both gases at the same time, pretty much. That's a really big scout there. 5 Stalkers and also the lack of 4th gas. A second bunker has started. He's already starting to wonder what's going on. And I'm pretty sure, is Acer going to allow MMA to go into this series without picking up strategies that he used before? He scans again, he scans the natural. Twilight Council discovered, extra gateways discovered. He now knows exactly what he's playing against. It's going to be this massive 2-base Blink all in. Can he defend it? And will MC be able to execute properly?
Defense then profit. That is what we need to see here from MMA if he wants to hold on. But again, with the incorporation of the Oracle still, it's that extra airborne position that he can use to blink up. You don't need to rely on a slow mothership core.
When you open up Factory and go Widow Mines, though, you don't have Stim for a long time in this game. He's got Widow Mine protection, but no Stim. He does have Medivacs, which helps out a little bit here.
MC doing what MC does best, which is a lot of good blink control, as will blink one of those down onto the low ground, continuing a very, very cost-efficient trade here for MC. SCVs get pulled off the line for MMA, realizing that there is a lot of risk involved in this if he doesn't actually deal with it early enough.
As much as MMA's defense was perfect in the last game, this attack is perfect as well.
Yeah.
He lost like no Stalkers. He moved them back, he blinked them down. He does take a big hit from a Widowmine there, but this is awesome by MC.
He's only lost one unit throughout. The second one will end up falling, but still so many Stalkers are available to him. The blink control impeccable here from MC, showing us exactly what it means to have boss toss control, and even the Envision to spot any Widow Mines that will be added onto this. He blinks forwards with a show of confidence from these Stalkers.
There's a lot of units here from him, and he's picking up the Marauders in the Medivacs. That was a very confident blink, but was it the right blink? He's got to be careful there.
Yeah.
He can't just blink forward. It looks like he will overpower it, but that did look a little bit scary for a second.
It was a bit over-eager. He could have continued to be all as cost-effective with his defensive blinks, but still, there's more blink Stalkers on that left-hand side looking to reinforce. The army supplies are very, very even, but it's not going to matter. GG. MC still overpowers despite being maybe a little bit overconfident in that.
The biggest difference between Game 2 and Game 3, when MMA spotted what was, going to be used against him, to Game 3 when he saw it as well, is he opened up Factory compared to Barracks in both games. So in game number 2, he opened up Barracks, which is a lot more streamlined to what he wants to do, where he gets Stim up a little bit faster, he gets the more units faster, but he opened up Factory. And that's more likely in this case for this much more defensive setup, which did help, but also hurt him at the same time because he wasn't able to get up towards Stim. And these useful upgrades. If this attack was hit a little bit later from MC, I think MMA would have been in a little bit of better shape. But, well, this finals is so good to watch because you're seeing really good play from both players, high-level execution on very hyper-aggressive Protoss play versus what it seems to be a very solid Terran play. But it's in favor of the Boss Toss right now, 2-1.
Boss Toss is showing the way for all those Protoss that like to get in their opponent's faces, that's for sure. But again, as we mentioned, he does have Boss Toss control. So he's pretty darn good when it comes to that execution. It's very difficult to actually manipulate and copy something quite similar.
Yeah. And the best part about StarCraft for me, a lot of the time, is when the game's a best of 5, best of 7. Because in a best of 1, best of 3 scenario, you just see this staple go-to build for both players and they just collide and move on. But what we're witnessing here in this final is adaptation between both players. Small little differences which make the biggest of impacts as the series goes on. We've seen that MC opened up 1-0. MMA played perfect defensively in the second game, and then MC changed things up a little bit and is able to strike once again. Now my big question is, what will happen in this next game?
And let's not forget, just before this game, just before this series, MMA predicted himself to have a 4-0 win. It's not quite gone quite like that just yet.
That's true. MC did say 4-1, and it is going in that way as well.
Yeah, so we could see that. But for now, guys, before we get into game number 4, let's head over to Red Eye.
Thank you. Yes, with Todd, after our first 3 maps, players are going to take a very quick break. Of course, they're allowed to do that after 3 maps. Very interesting 3 maps. Let's start on the first one. Didn't really go well for MMA. I mean, he lost that early Reaper, then things just didn't work out for him at all from then on, and MC executed it perfectly.
Yeah, you know, it's funny how MC, even though he has this image of a guy that's going to pick a build and put everything he has into it, he's gotten so good at it that he doesn't even care anymore that he's open no. He doesn't even mind. His execution is so good, his timings are perfect. He always micros and places his units perfectly when he attacks. The one mistake that he made on Habitation was losing his Oracle, which I think cost him the game. I think he would have had a chance without that. And then in that last game as well, he lost his Oracle. And it's really interesting to me how he's basically bringing a new meta into the game and the matchup. Like, nobody does that. Nobody opens with an Oracle, make sure they keep him alive, and then go for a big timing. And MC right now I feel, he's revolutionizing the matchup.
Yeah. Second map, Habitation. He took that early goal, which it's not something we see all the time. I mean, I don't know if you feel like it's a risky strategy, but it got scouted earlier on. MMA then locked it down. He knew exactly what was coming. defended really well, really solid. It was almost like a complete opposite from game one, where everything he touched didn't work. Game two, everything worked for MMA.
Yeah, I think on Habitation, actually, this is one of the most popular builds right now to take the goal. We saw Son do it yesterday and be successful with it, but out of Sand, there was a transition onto Storm because he saw that the attack wasn't going to work. And I think that's one of the good things that MC could have done there. But MC right now, it really feels like he picks a build, he goes with it, and he sticks to it the entire way. Win or lose, he doesn't care.
And then Daedalus, 2-base, blink all in. MC decides, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and he kind of deviates from what you said in the past, and he's like, oh, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick to it. And that was flawless.
Yeah, not flawless. He lost the first Oracle.
All
Yeah.
right.
The thing is, Daedalus is a very good blink map, and so many Protosses will actually veto it versus Terran because they don't play it in the other matchups, so they veto it on ladder. And I said the maps were going to be a very interesting thing to keep an eye on in this finals, and it's proved true so far. Alter Zim and Daedalus were played very quickly into the series, so this is an unusual match we're seeing, and that's because they are such high-level players that they are able to play on these maps very well. So we're going to be taking a look at...
let's take a closer look at map 3.
At map 3, when MC started moving out, and basically brought the second Oracle that he had made to be able to spot the Widow Mines, to do some demining, and then go with the all-in attack on 2 bases. So he's going to move out now. His Oracle is a little bit behind. I was surprised that he was microing the Oracles separately from his army. Usually you would want to put it in follow on one of your Stalkers and use the Revelation spell or the detection spell. So at this point I was a little bit worried he might mess up, but no, look, he goes forward, he pulls back on time just after entering that area where it could have been dangerous. And it feels like he kind of knows where the Widow Mines already are. He pokes up the ramp, he sees the placement on those bunkers and mines, he's like, I'm not even going to try to get in there. I'm just going to blink up there. So he makes sure this area is covered, removes the Widow Mine here. And for MMA at this point, it's like, as much as he knows that it's coming, Blink Stalkers are going to be in position very, very early. There is an Oracle ready to detect, so it's only up to the Marines and Medivacs to be able to get rid of this. MC immediately moves to this area where he can blink down to make sure he can just trade shield 4 Marines. Behind this, he's able to reinforce with a lot of Stalkers, and then it just goes from bad to worse for the Terran player. The Mothership Core even comes in to support with this, to support this army with a Time Warp here. And MC does it pretty quickly after that. I think we can just fast forward a little bit here to see the action that happened. And MC's Blink Stalker micro, flawless as always. All SCVs are pulled, and in the end, the micro just too good for MMA to be able to pull this off on Daedalus here.
So 2-1, it's a very different kind of final than we had last season. MMA streaked off into a 3-0 lead. MC was kind of downbeat a little bit, but then he made a quick comeback and got 2 maps. So even though MMA is down 2-1, it doesn't really matter to him right now. I think this is going to be close all the way, isn't it? Or are we going 4-1 the way MC said
I'd like to think so, but I was just thinking about the analysis that happened yesterday with MC talking about the big heads, the 4 Colossus timing. Is this what we're going to see next? Is MC going to be able to close this out with, again, another one of his crazy builds, which, by the way, it's funny because yesterday I asked him, even before the other semifinals was played, if he had to play MMA, will he still go for that? He was like, of course. That build is just that good that even if MMA knows, he's a brainless machine, so he's not going to be able to hold it anyway.
Yeah, okay. Let's find out then who's going on to claim a championship. Will MMA claim a 2nd in a row? He's going to need 3 more maps. MC, though, is in the boss seats right now with a 2-1 lead. Let's head back to the commentary team for map number 4 with Kalaris and Apollo.
All right, thanks very much, guys. Game number 4 on Yonsu to now find out if MC can go up 3-1 or if MMA can tie it up 2-2. Personally, I'm hoping for the tie, so we see as many games as possible here in this final, and MMA is definitely capable of it.
Even though difficult but not impossible, you never really want to go behind by 2 games. In a best of 7, going behind 3, 3-0 is really, really hard. You never really want to let that happen. So this map, Yonsu, is incredibly important for MMA to win on. And not just because of how it usually plays out, but against a player like we see on screen, MC. If you have to win every single game from this point out, you don't want to be having to do that against a player like MC. Because MC can just boop, kill you and it's over. You do not want that to happen, so you've always got to keep the score in your favor, or at least be close to what he has.
Yeah, keeping up. It's like, just you know, like running, man. If you like let that lead build up from your opponent, then you're gonna have a whole lot of harder times being able to try and keep up on that distance at the very end when you're completely kind of out of breath, tired, trying to keep up. But now, countdown has begun for game number 4. Yonsu is our map. And I was theorizing before that, you know, as Todd said, you know, you could see that kind of like big Colossus play come out on here. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that from MC. I think it's a very, very strong build on this map.
MMA needs to scout, search, and destroy Kalaris. MC needs to hide, and then just execute, baby.
So we'll find out now as we load up onto game number 4. Spawning up to the top right-hand corner, the current reigning WCS Europe champion. As our red Terran representing Team Acer, it is MMA. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, the blue Protoss. 2-1 so far here in this best of 7. It is MC.
Yonsu is the map where we saw MMA get overconfident on in the previous finals in Season 3 last year. He was 3-0 up, he loaded into Yonsu, and decided to do this wonky proxy Reaper build.
Oh yeah.
It got scouted, stopped, countered, and his game ended immediately, and MC was back in the series. This time, as we can see, no proxy nonsense. I think he's going to be saying to himself, Reaper expand. And I wonder if he'll play Factory or not. I'm thinking not as much anymore, especially on a small map on this. With the Reaper expand into Factory, you are open to potential counters. And there is a large window of opportunity for the Protoss player to strike you down before you have the necessary upgrades, as we could see in the previous game. So I'd be expecting MMA here to be opening up Reaper, take out a gas a little bit after he mines the Reaper and also mines out the reactor, the gas for both there, and then just look at barracks placements.
And likewise, we're seeing MC on the other side of things, actually preparing for the Reaper, building himself those walls to eventually hide potential tech behind all of that. And again, MC has been known to, and we've seen a lot of Stargate play from him so far, yes, but he has been known to throw down those robos behind all of this, transition up to that robo bait very, very quickly. And it's going to be all the more difficult for a Reaper to get into there unless he wants to go through the probe line, which is very, very annoying in itself.
Well, one different part of MC's build here, he has not opted to take a second gas for the first time in a lot of games, let's just say. He's gone for one gas, so this is much more a just one gate, faster Nexus, and then can decide his tech choice after the Nexus has come down, which means it's not fastly rushed, but it does mean whatever he chooses afterwards does have a bit of a kick to it, a bit of a spice to it, because it is fueled stronger by a better economy.
So already the adaptation here from MC in the, well, the potential third win for him if he is able to take it all the way. He did not cancel the Zealot during all of this, so he wants to get rid of this SCV. He's not been taking any chances.
I was just watching MMA for his gas, by the way, because what I mentioned before I think is quite relevant. With the SCVs, he actually went out of gas, and then he decided to go back into gas after he saw one gateway, one gas here. So I'm pretty sure he had intentions to go 3 barracks, but upon seeing one gas and the likelihood of fast aggression incredibly low, he's going to go for his Widowmine play here, which you can use in different ways. You can drop them if you go up for a starport. You can actually walk them across the other side of the map and plant them around maybe the ramp and run around with Marines a little bit, which you are building 2 at a time here. Couple of options open from MMA, but it looks like he most likely in this game will be the first player to strike aggression.
At least for him, though. Also behind that, he's adding on the bunker as well. So if just in case MC was doing anything very, very sneaky, then he would be a little bit heavily defended in comparison to nothing.
MC's added on a second Stalker instead of throwing down a faster Twilight Council or tech choice, by the way, just to note. So it's much slower than he could have rushed it out after his Nexus going down.
There's a probe behind that mineral line, and he was at 200, 100.
But what the extra Stalker gives him is a much higher possibility to deny the Reaper Scout. So yes, he delays his Twilight a little bit more here, but he shouldn't be letting that Reaper get in. If that Reaper gets inside and scouts what's going on, especially when you commit to 2 Stalkers like this, Come on, you shouldn't be letting this happen.
Yeah, he needs to get in there and actually spot what's going on. That Twilight Council, as we mentioned though before, is very, very heavily hidden right at the back of this.
The Stalkers are on the right-hand side, Plar. It's not the left.
Probes, he actually didn't pull them to actually even deny that. So
I'm not sure he saw exactly what that was, but I think you can assume that it's the Twilight Council. He may have seen it. It was very close, and he definitely could have seen it. Let's just say that.
Well, Widowmine's going to set themselves up for the defense. The extra barracks are added on now.
Yeah. Whereas, I mean, this Widowmine's moving out. Can catch any early Stalker that moves out for a little bit of poke to see if there's a bunker or something here, but he's now going to move into his defense. Remember, the added-on bonus is, yes, you do have Widowmines early. There is no Oracle or Robotics Facility or Detection overall. And also, to add on to all of that, is that MC has absolutely no freaking idea what his opponent's doing, whether it be barracks play or factory play. He doesn't know. So, in hindsight, even though all his tech labs and stims going to be delayed, with no detection in this game, the Widowmines are useful, but of course you can always blink away from them too, don't forget.
Yeah, and we've seen MC execute that really, really well in the past. Also, without Oracles being in the mix there, you're relying heavily on your Mothership core if you do go for the aggression. If it gets sniped out, then you're in a really bad spot. But he sees a Forge going down during all of this.
A Forge most likely here is for cannons and his mineral line to defend while he attacks.
Yeah, I mean, especially since he hasn't taken any of the gases at the natural just yet. So there's really not a huge amount of teching up for him to be doing behind all of this. And there's the pylon now to begin this aggression here from MC.
And like Todd mentioned, MC's choosing a strategy and he doesn't care what you do. He's just going for it.
And a lot of the times it works out for him. But these Widowmines now are very, very well placed to slow a lot of what MC wants to do down. So this is already a good start here from MMA, I feel. Oh,
so Stim is on its way. Robo's down here, so it's going to be a bit of an attack, but not heavy committed. He'll probably take the gases pretty fast here too. It will be in a well, I say will, but he hasn't even moved out yet. He did spot the Widowmines with a probe that moved around, so maybe he changed his mind. And without building any more Stalkers at all, then it looks like he's not going to move out, especially if he's just sitting here. Yeah, 2 sentries coming in. Guess he's not going.
Yeah.
But this is good for MMA. I mean, MC's got all these units and he's kind of got them out fast, but what is he doing with them? Nothing. If MMA attacks and loses units, yeah, then they're useful, but at this point, no.
It's really weird, because and he drops the scan and sees the sentries there as well.
And the gases, sentries. He realizes this attack isn't coming. So at this point, MMA's like, woohoo!
Exactly.
Every Terran player in the world's like, rejoice!
Yay!
We don't need to defend it all in.
Good times, good times. But it really felt like MMA was, MC was luring his opponent into that false sense of insecurity, and then MMA was setting for the defense. But MMA read every sign.
Yeah.
He dropped the scans. He saw what was going on.
The big problem is, after you break the core of the Protoss right now, not the mothership core, but the core defense, which is the front line. So if MMA gets drops in, if the mothership photon overcharge somehow isn't activated, then he's dangerous. But if he defends on the outer shields of the Protoss base, such as blinking to stop the mid-evacs from coming in, using the photon overcharge at the right time on the natural, then he's not in the worst position possible.
Interesting addition here of the Viking, as MMA doesn't really have full indication now as to what his opponent's up to, because he's like, well, you had Twilight Council and Blink, but what are you really doing with it?
I've got Widowmines. You're not surely going to play with heavy zealots, are you? But he might start to change things up a little bit. He's gonna move forward here. Mothership core's way out of position.
Force field catches a few of these units, but it does leak through a little bit of a sieve in regards to those force fields and gets on out with the majority of that.
And he was looking, he scanned inside the main base to have a look at his opponent's tech choice, saw the robo inactive, and has actually stopped Viking production and gone over to the Medivac and maybe adding in some more Widowmines, maybe. I'm not too sure if he'll do that at this point, but he knows what he's playing against now. Gateway heavy.
And this is now where it gets really scary for MC, because from here on out, we have all felt that this is MMA territory, right?
Yeah.
He survived past that little bit of a prolonged kind of threatening position, and now this is where MMA's macro is supposed to explode.
Yeah.
He's supposed to get a strong army and then start pressuring MC.
Well, as soon as he saw that he wasn't being attacked, he threw down the 3rd command center. He added on the 4th and 5th barracks after that, so he is quite well prepared with his economy to continue on with this game. He's using a lot of scans, more so than I would assume a lot of Terran players do. He's killing observers, he's always scouting, and he also has the Ghost Academy on the way. That's a nice scout there, by the way, on the left-hand side.
Yeah, very, very nice. Picking up that Warp Prism pretty darn quickly. That it only has Zealots in it. Storm's on the way. Could have technically gone for Storm drops eventually, but...
MC might attack from this. It's hard to tell because his probe count is a little bit too high for a 2-base attack. He would have liked to bring that down a little bit for more reasons than just one. Less pros means less supply wasted, and of course money spent where he doesn't need it. He should be looking at a 3rd base, but it's not impossible that he doesn't attack at this point. He's building up a very strong army, and if he hits with +2 armor, and he's got about 20 odd Zealots, so it's quite a lot. And he also has Storm in the mix too. So an overall very powerful army, but incredibly weak. Incredibly weak versus Ghosts.
I mean, one thing's for sure is that the 3rd base, even if he's clearing up that location now and taking it,
it should
very
be a
late.
3rd base, but of course it's MC. Nothing's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he is.
It looks like he's going to throw it down, but it's still really late. So
it could be a dummy too. You know, he's moved down, cleaned it up, pulled the probe down. It definitely could be a dummy.
Yeah, so many pylons on the way. How many high Templars does he have? He has 3 with energy.
MC has an observer spotting where the army mostly is for MMA. He does throw down the 3rd Nexus and has added 2 extra probes to what he had before at 52. Or is he well, let's just watch the production tab. Is it more units? Is he going to add on? He keeps doing it. He's not building probes, right? You can see it. He's planning to attack.
I think it's so hard as a Protoss to make this work against prolonged Widowmine production. So difficult.
6 Ghosts and Widowmines.
It's going to be really, really hard. Oh, don't catch it!
He catches both! He catches both the high tempo and the Warp Prism. But is he going to get it out with his units?
Yeah, absolutely has to evacuate as quickly as possible with this.
Stalkers to cut them off.
This is a good move here from MC if he can actually catch a lot of this. But again, a big damage was done by MMA there, who not only got the High Templars, but also the Warp Prism, which was going to protect them from the Ghosts when that battle was going to fight.
So delicate, but so awesome at the same time there. And here comes the assault. MC's down in supply. There are Ghosts, remember. If they land the right EMPs, this army's going to be like butter.
Okay, so he needs to protect all of these High Templars, and they need to land great storms here.
Widowmine too. Widowmine within that army. Where are they going to hit? At least something. Boom.
Wow, look how much damage that Widowmine did.
Yeah, shields down a lot of units. MMA's actually moving out at this point.
There's 2 High Templars on the high ground. They will end up catching some of those high...
Production begun and the robotics bay.
He can't do it. He absolutely can't do it, and he's going to get completely caught here. No Mothership Core to actually recall out. Force Field's on the low, and
Widowmines. No observer there, so
no
he's going to have to back
claws.
off. Tunneling claws. Drilling claws.
There you go.
Where are the roaches, Kalaris?
Yeah, it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. All right.
But MC's army's trapped. It's trapped.
Yeah.
There's no storms. Okay, there's one, and there's a second one, actually, I think. But that's it.
That was actually a pretty good storm.
It's gone. It's gone.
That second one, not so much. Okay, so he does get out of here. Tunneling claws, jeez.
He scans, he sees where the army's moving. He spots that there's no storm in this army. There's still a lot of Zealots, though.
All right, so back to the pro production. But MMA now, he has to feel really comfortable against this. I mean, all they have to do is like a lot of VMPs across that entire army. That shreds up almost half of the health of the lot. But look how many Zealots he actually has.
That's a lot of Zealots.
Jeez, +2 armor with this against only +1 weapons. Look at, only +2 has only just started right now here for MMA.
He's killed the rocks. He's going to pick off a couple of front Zealots, and he's going to hold on.
But again, look at the upgrades from MMA. They're really, really lackluster. 2-2 only just started at like the 17-minute mark. What?
Yeah, and MC's back on powered up with 3 bases. He was building probes through that. Remember, he had it on the robotics bay.
Guardian Shield goes up, and MC still trying to continue on with this aggressive stance. He knows his opponent has a 3rd base behind this, so he's just trying to catch up.
Colossus are so important at this moment. He needs to begin his first Colossus and start adding them on. Even a second robotics facility isn't crazy. It's not a stupid thing to say right now. If he'd had a second Robo going at the same time, imagine the power punch of double Colossus coming out when your opponent doesn't have any Viking upgrades and doesn't have any Vikings out at all. I think that's quite powerful here, but it's not yet started from MC. But, you know, very back and forth between these 2 players. Yeah. Very back and forth.
Very, very, you're right. There's actually no ghosts out on the field right now. So the first 3 that are going to grace us with their presence from here on out are the ones that are first to be replenished. So it's scary. I mean, 155 supply against 155 supply. Absolutely down to the wire in game number 4. As that drop on the right-hand side is going to try and enter there. Oh, you're not getting in there, my friends. That's well defended.
With that spot in the robotics bay, he's kind of expecting the transition. It's kind of very, very normal once your Protoss takes 3 bases. He's got the second starport on the way here. But MC didn't overcommit too heavy. I mean, he started his pro production at the right time, didn't have that Nexus to fall back on, remember, and has stabilized rather well from his very aggressive nature. A scan from MMA reveals, well, not a lot. Did see the army approaching, so he was able to back out here, and is moving with quite a few units on the right-hand side too. Not a high amount, but there is a medivac there too, another one full of units.
How many Colossi do we have? One is currently on the field. One that time.
Quite far away.
Yeah, Widowmine gets a good hit, and Storms really don't do a huge amount other than start working away at that Widowmine.
Well, we're past the 15-minute mark, as we mentioned before, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's what we've talked about, where MMA is going to be probably feeling a little bit better, but he is now going up against the combination of Colossus and High Templar with Storm, which, for any Terran player, is difficult to play against.
And whilst we say that, 15-minute mark, pretty good here for MMA, MC has shown us that he is able to transition pretty darn nicely, gets himself a medevac on that right-hand side as well.
I mean, it's not like MC's weak after the 15-minute mark, is that he's just super strong before it, and you can very easily die. Second robot coming in, by the way, to really ramp that Colossus production up, but MC's army is very scary at the moment. A good mix of units, a lot of zealots.
Scary thing for any Terran, man, that many zealots. Yeah. Unless he's got like a huge wall of Widowmine set up. He actually has 11 in his army comp.
He has Cloak with his army too, and there is an Observer with the army, so that's not the biggest of deals, but something to think about.
Only one. With that now, though, MMA trying to bring down this. Never underestimate Marauders. We saw what they did to a Robo Bay a few days ago.
Good storm. Very nice storm there by MC, catching the tail of that medivac.
Yeah, and now 3 Vikings and 3 Ghosts being added on at any time here from MMA. So he's really going up to a very, very solid unit composition himself.
And he's been forced to take the left-hand side base here. He's never had the freedom or the time to destroy the rocks by his third to take the base to the far, far left. And he never wants to be taking the base that's on the right-hand side here. Storm's on the low ground, Colossus on the low ground. You force, well, MC could force a fight on his terms. You don't want to be taking the base there.
4 Widowmines now loaded up in that medevac as well to try and drop in those bases. But there were so many Zealots on the defense, and they're already here again. Even a High Templar there for the feedback. Not really too useful on that medevac as it wasn't full energy. Well, not enough energy to kill it off in one feedback, but look at this MMA now setting himself up maybe for the push down these bottom areas. And this is as far as a game on Yonsu has got for a while for me in terms of PvT. These guys taking a 4th base on Yonsu, what?
Yeah, this game's going to be a long one, and the reason for that is because none of them really want to fight into the other player. Because if you do, then you fight on his terms, and what that means is that he's going to be more positionally set up, which means you're mostly going to be attacking through an arc somewhere, which would leave favor to the splash damage of your opponent. That's a big hit there, 9 kills. And, at this point when they can't fight each other, it does come down to harassment, such as these Widowmines. Maybe Warp Prism could be played if he's able to squeeze past the Vikings. Harassment Dark Shrine could come into play very shortly from MC, and different tools like this.
And to what you were saying about the positional advantages of these armies, Widowmines and the way in which Terran has evolved from the previous patch, it's even more so than ever because of how well Widowmines can control space.
Interesting movement out here by MMA. He's going to move up here, and MC spots this and does realize what's going on. From this point, there could be High Tempo on the high ground.
So many ghosts.
Attack forward. +3 attacks about to finish here. He scans the army on the right-hand side. He's going to attack in.
Wow.
And this is interesting. MC's not in the best of... He cannot fight up there. That's what I'm going to say. MC's not in the best of position. He cannot go up there, because if he does, he just gets EMP'd absolutely everywhere. This is a brilliant position for MMA. MC just shouldn't have given away this position.
Oh my god, so much of that got blanketed by EMPs, but a few of the Storms did hit all of those Vikings, but it doesn't matter because there's no Colossi there all anymore. The Zealots on this left-hand side are not doing too bad a job. More High Templars on this right-hand side, though.
2 Colossus coming into the fight. There's no Vikings left.
MMA might have actually just walked into hell. That was terrible in the end. Storms, as well as the reinforcements, really holding on for MC.
As good as that was to be in that position, MC was like, yeah, it's fine. No problem.
That's all right.
On the boss toss, it's fine. And just deals with it. Look at it. He's winning. He's miles ahead. 30 supply ahead. That fight did not go that well for MMA. Landed his Vikings incredibly early. Thought all the Colossus were gone. 2 popped out. Reinforcing Zealots. No more EMPs on the Zealots. They all missed.
I mean, he had 14 Ghosts, and now he's down to 2. So that's the degree how quickly those were dying off during that fight. Yes, they landed a lot of EMPs on that army on the right-hand side, but they weren't there for the longevity of it. They didn't deal with the reinforcing High Templars.
There's no Vikings. There's 2 Colossus. This
is scary. MMA's in danger times. This is going to be scary
right now. He is in major, major danger.
All right, he's got to be careful about this. MC He's also playing it out slowly. He realizes he's crippled his opponent's base on the left-hand side. That's fine. He spots this base, not mining with his mothership core.
Yeah, doesn't need to rush this now. MC's in a lead. He's 2-1 ahead. He would like to be in 3-1 ahead, which would be the case if he's able to win this one.
And MC just breaking down those rocks, gets once again hit by those EMPs, pulls back a little bit. Double Chrono Boost into those Colossi now behind all of this. And he's maxed out compared to the 164 of MMA. And now he's building up a bit of more of a bank because he's maxed out. He's going to be able to go more for more better trades here than MMA. Because MMA just only has 7 ghosts to the 11 High Templar.
This is cruise control in MC's new car.
A nice car.
A very nice car.
Hopefully an Audi for MC.
And absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And how well is he going to set himself up? He really doesn't have that many Widow Mines either to control any space feedback on one of those ghosts. Storm will actually cut off this army into 2 separate chunks. He's been completely divided. 1 Storm on this left-hand side with Zealots charging forward. The Archons are going to deal with the army on the right-hand side. Storms for the defense on this expansion as well. And even if he's able to take out all of those units on the ground from the Zealots, there's still these Colossi behind this and no Vikings to really deal with it. He's actually traded as best as MMA can do from here, but MC still is doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, and the economy, the power of the Protoss economy at this point is pretty strong. On 4 bases like this, he's been able to rally right in. Double Immortals, Archons, there's really no ghosts left, so you can't bring down the shields of these heightened units.
I mean, their army supplies are actually quite even considering all of this that has gone on, but MMA now is scrambling for the defense. His army just isn't quite the value, so he's going to push this back because he was going up against a higher count of Zealots and really not too much splash damage. That's a great position for MMA to now try and push back out of this. It's so close, it's so down to the wire.
Yeah, income's still better for MC, so if he can build up the right units, then maybe, but he does need a bit of time. He's absolutely destroyed MMA's economy. MMA does have 1 army. MC fought a little bit too aggressively there. You know, a lot of his units were attacking into structures and so on, but from this point, he should, in MC's eyes, be able to rebuild a decent army. That's already pretty decent in itself, considering there are no ghosts. Going to be very hard to stop these Zealots and Archons. MC, as much as cruise control is active there, no, cruise control not always the best thing to be doing.
Yeah, just no ghosts, no ghosts. He needs those 4 now that are in production. He needs those out to deal with the army that we're seeing here from MC. You're right, though. I mean, if we're being hypercritical of things, MC with all of that damage going onto buildings, with that fight, not the most amazing cost-efficient trade there for MC, but he felt he was in such a lead. And now he's going to go and punish this base over on the right-hand side, which is the main mining base of MMA.
Well, never say never, right? As 3 High Templars get picked off on the left-hand side. With killing a couple of units there, MC's still in the supply lead, still with a decent army, and is trying to stop the income of MMA because that's where he's really bleeding at this moment.
A lot of SCVs dying on the retreat out, but that's quite a heavy bio play. Yeah, he really needs to keep those alive, and actually lands a few APs on these Archons. That's going to dissolve those very quickly. The Zealots, though, are a big deal. More High Templars get sacrificed down to the bottom left. Storms should be able to clean up a good bit of that, but MMA now has a supply advantage in terms of the army.
Yeah, sluggish battle between both players, but like I mentioned, MC still with a better income, so overall can rebuild, but MMA's pushing back here, and he's going to start to touch that economy of his opponent. Emergency High Templars morph into Archons here, and he doesn't really want to lose that pylon because all the reinforcements are not close, and that's his Nexus. He needs that Nexus to keep this income high.
He's actually having to warp in the mineral line to deal with this. MMA now is on the verge of actually breaking through. If he can break this backbone, this base is the backbone of MC. MMA is now barreling down upon this. 2 Dark Templars get warped in. He has to have scans. He has to realize this quickly. And there he does. He actually brings that. There you go. There's the kill. MMA takes the Nexus. GG. And he's in disbelief. He is in disbelief, tying it up 2-2. What a hold on there from MMA. See?
Yeah.
Disbelief. Utter disbelief.
Crowd chanting MMA there. That's a comeback we don't really see too often.
Wow.
And that man right there was about to be 3 games to 1. What happened? What happened?
Crazy, crazy game. MC, he had his hands around its neck. He had his grasp. But
he's playing so fast. Every time he loses a mineral line, he's picking up, going back again. He's all over the shop. He's got amazing micro. MMA is playing like we've described after advancing into the round of 16. It's just been getting better and better and better, coming into the top 8. And now, well, 2-2.
And one thing to note is that during the start of today, MMA even going through all of the replays of MC and trying to figure out what he's going to do in this series. He's had a lot of support from people like Alicia over there, really, and Oz as well, really giving him like a lot of information and trying to help him out as they can. This is tied up 2-2 apiece. I'm very excited, especially with how well we saw MMA hold on.
It's quite funny, actually, in the in-game lobby, which they're both in. Usually MC's the guy to smack talk and stuff, but he just enters and says, good game, well played. Because that was an incredible display of StarCraft from MMA. Absolutely incredible. And now both of these players are ready to begin the next map. We are going into the 5th map now between these two players in this best of 7. It's going to be Frost. Whoever wins this next one will be just one single game away from winning the first season of the World Championship Series here in Europe. Will it be a back-to-back win for MMA after winning last season's? Will MC finally find his first place victory after 2 years of waiting?
Yeah, exactly. I can't help but feel that MC, if he does not win this final after being so close, and even in that last game being so close to victory, he is going to be crushed. I can't imagine the emotions that will be going through. I mean, he's MC, he has all the bravado in the world, he's a confident guy, but in the end, a loss is a loss on one of the biggest stages.
When you push your opponent back to his main base pretty much, you're expecting to win it from there.
All right, let's get into it. Game number 5, Frost our map, as we are tied up 2 apiece. Up to the top right-hand corner, the defending champion of WCS Europe in the red, it is MMA. Down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss. Representing Global Esports Management, it is MC.
And as many expected, it's difficult to call an actual champion from this series. And this is going to be a close one, I think, no matter which way we see it. I don't really see it being a 4-2 to anybody. I would expect it to go to all 7 games here. Very close back and forth. MC is the player that we've been focusing a lot on today because he is the player that has a lot of options to choose from to be aggressive versus MMA, who's playing very reactionary here. MC, the last couple of times in major games that he's played against Jack G, and then also against MMA the last time they played in the finals, has opened up with similar but different types of 2 base Colossus all-ins on this map. Did it yesterday against Jack G and did it against MMA the last time they played here. Is that his choice of strategy again here? Does he favor that more so than anything else? MMA is choosing a less economic build on a larger map because he's playing against MC. Go and Reaper Expand when a lot of Terran players do like Command Center first on this map. It's a 4-player map. You're not meant to be super aggressive on a 4-player map. You've got no idea where your opponent spawned.
Yeah, but then from there, we saw MC just completely go balls to the wall to a certain degree in Altazim's stronghold with that kind of Void Ray bust, but you're right, this is not the most common. And MMA, he's scouting clockwise, and he's going to be rewarded for such things.
And such things will be, he'll go in and see the 1 gas, which, like we saw in the previous game, gave him a bit of a heads up that he doesn't need to be super aggressive. MC coming back with his probe already knows where MMA is because he saw where the SCV was coming from, which is why he turned back there. And so that's interesting. He doesn't really care what MMA is doing because MMA is doing the same thing every single game. So he just comes back. He says, all right, you're up there, you're up and Reaper Expand. I'm not going to be able to see if you go for a factory or barracks after this anyway, so what's the point scouting?
And it was an even more clever move because if he'd have sent a probe down to the natural to take it, then the SCV would have already seen it. But that probe that was moving out for the scout comes back, the SCV's never going to see it, throws down the Nexus, and he doesn't get blocked out. So nice little small moves here from MC.
And again, MMA, knowing he's playing against 1 gas, is choosing the factory opening again here, unless he just wants to bank a lot of gas, which doesn't make that much sense. So he's going to throw the factory down. It is trying to be hidden.
And now that I think about it, this probe even gets a little bit of a scout off the back of, if he'd have gone over there at first and not actually turned around to throw down the Nexus, the Reaper would have probably popped out and just killed him before he could have seen anything.
Yeah.
So I can't tell if that was fortunate for MC or actually calculated. That's up in the air.
MC could have clicked on the refinery to seen how much gas had been mined to know that at this point, with this much gas mined, it should be a factory opening. Whether he's done that or not, we don't know, because that's just in his mind, but actual physical confirmation on what MC or MMA is trying to go for, has not been confirmed yet from MC.
Bit of a pull of the probes to try and deal with this Reaper. Stalker has had time bought for it, and he does get a probe even with all of this, and should be able to get out.
Yeah, should be able to get out.
Yeah, nice.
Mothership Core and Stalker putting pressure on 4 Marines. And about to be 6.
That's actually really annoying here for MMA. That Widow Mine's going to have to come along with this. But then again, 6 Marines, you know, adding on the additional 2 as well. That's quite a good, healthy amount here to push this back.
Twilight Council.
Okay, okay. Twilight choice. Reaper, don't die. Okay, he gets away.
No confirmation yet from MC, really, though. He poked forward, would have liked to have seen something placed down, hasn't really spotted anything yet, so still without proper knowledge that this is going to be the factory opening. He's chosen Blink again. MMA has not likewise... Oh, no, he doesn't, sorry. He hasn't spotted the Twilight Council of his opponent yet either. He's trying to race back to get there in time, but no, he's probably going to have to land a scan, you would imagine.
Yeah, even with
he hasn't got energy yet, but with his next set of energy, probably.
You're right. I mean, even with the attempted bust up on the left-hand side here of this Reaper, I think MC should be able to shut that down. Stalker's well positioned. And, slight miss micro there.
Extra gateways, trying to get around the back.
Oh,
spotted with the Chrono Boost 2. So sees Blink, sees Chrono Boost, sees 3 gateways.
There was a slight miss micro in that Stalker. I think he could have shot at it 1 extra time, so... Slight slip up, but now everything being revealed, he throws down the Forge instantly, and he's probably going to play this out a little further.
Well, it could be for the cannons again in the mineral lines like last game.
Yeah, it could be.
But like we said, in the previous game, it looked like he was being quite aggressive, but did fall back on his gases quite fast, and he's going to take double gases. So he's going to fall back, most likely just upgrade from that Forge. All right, he's got spotted, whatever. Is going to continue on from this. As we've seen throughout the series, if MMA knows what he's playing against and it still continues on, he's pretty good at defending it.
And I think MMA is just in general a clever guy. So if he would end up throwing down a scan later on, because he was expending a lot of scans in that previous game, then he would throw it down generally where his Reaper just scouted, because MC will be expecting that not to be too favorable a spot.
And MMA spots a pylon being built to the north here, which is actually a pretty big deal, because this attack is not commencing as we spotted with the Forge and the gases being added on. Yet, he's now lost a Widowmine at the front. He's seen a pylon being built. He's added on an additional bunker because we know what MC's like. He just goes for it anyway. It doesn't matter if he's where he goes for it. But in this case, it's not happening. One good scout there is that the SCV spots the Stalkers retreating. So you don't need to worry. You take your gas, you're not going to be attacked by Blink Stalkers if the Blink Stalkers are on the other side of the halfway line here. So you'd imagine it'd just be a salvage of the bunker. Even though we'll keep it for a little bit here, he's fine at this point.
Yeah, and that SCV keeping a little bit of vision on the low ground to see if anything's moving around out there. It's not, so he's just completely confirming that he is safe and stable.
But doesn't want to risk it by salvaging too early. He kind of knows he's okay, but... double engineer bay. You're not going to go double engineer bay when you're about to be attacked. So
yeah, and hopefully we see the 2-2 commence after the 1-1 a little bit quicker than the previous game, as MMA wasn't really too fast and too speedy with those upgrades.
So we have exactly the same follow-up from MC in terms of taking the gases, the double sentries back at home, and MMA.
It's difficult, man.
MMA sees the same thing. But the actual transition is very different here. It's not Zealot Charge from the Twilight Council. He is going most likely towards a +1 attack upgrade. He's going to the Colossus, the most important part of all of this. A different tech switch from MC, and that has not been spotted yet by MMA.
And that's a really cute Widow Mine placement on this right-hand side, just in case any Warp Prism goes down that avenue. Very, very nice. Will he end up spotting this Observer? It's quite difficult on this map, actually.
Scan for the tech choice has been revealed.
Yep.
Spots the Colossus, so he knows it's not Templar focus play, which means Viking production can begin.
I'm hoping that we see like a third go down like a little bit quicker for MC than we did in the previous game, if he's actually wanting to do that. The pylon, he sees the pylon and the probe down there, so he must assume that something's going to happen soon.
Whew. All right. So
this is tense, man.
Of course, this is the grand finals.
Yeah.
Third command center was added on, of course, as soon as he realized he wasn't being attacked, and likewise the 4th and 5th barrack. So quite a regular setup from both players here. And now becomes the balance of how MC and when MC takes his third base. The faster he takes it, the better it is for him. The more MMA can delay it, the better it is for him. but how can you really delay it against a guy that's got Blink Stalkers? You overstep, you could lose a lot of units. And a pretty fast Templar Archives. That's actually really fast. Maybe because of the scans that MMA's learned silly in what he's doing at all times. Maybe wants to switch it up a little bit faster, not focus too heavy on Colossus here. Maybe, 2, maybe 3. Maybe he's scared of an SCV pull against, whatever, but he's going to switch up rather fast.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice here from MC. Just to slightly change it and tweak it from the previous game so it's not as easily readable from game to game here from MMA. And this Observer just will barely spot that in the middle, I think. Very, very close. But it's just going to hold ground there for now. So at least he knows that there's a little bit of a threat potentially down that left-hand side as this base will eventually get spotted by MMA.
Armory's coming in, so 2-2 is going to be started by MMA. It's going to be quite juicy for him with these upgrades. Overall, rather balanced game between the both players. No signs of opportunity for aggression from either side yet. MC's probe count's nice and high. Warp Prism, actually, changed from Warp Prism to Immortal. So obviously you can clearly see thought process from MC kind of going back and forth a little bit.
There's a lot of upgrades still on the way here for MC. I mean, he's done a really, really good job of actually keeping his Chrono Boost so down on his neck side. All game long, I've been kind of paying attention to that. And a player like MC, obviously, he's going to be keeping it low, but constantly, very, very little energy on these Nexus to really get those upgrades out fast. And Storm, in the process of all of that, is going to be out super quick here for him to deal with anything.
And you'd give MC a slight edge when it came to the fights, because Storm and High Tempo are out, yet no Ghosts.
Yeah.
A scan from MMA reveals where his opponent's army is. Stims down the right-hand side here, which is going to be picked up by an Observer quite easily.
2-2's at a much better time this time for MMA. So that's nice to see from him to really sync things up and make himself a little bit more potent later on.
High Tempo warped into the natural as he saw this Medivac go there. MMA looking for avenues of aggression, but no, sorry, not really. No, there's nothing here.
And there's that Warp Prism in the production, so that Widow Mine on the right-hand side might come into use for MMA.
So just very, solid defense here from MC. No weaknesses, no holes.
It's the calm before the storm.
It really is at this moment. Both players just trying to really increase their army supply and overall supply as fast as possible. MMA is climbing fast. As you can see, he does have an upgrade. He does have an upgrade lead, but more importantly, a supply lead. There could be an option for a fight. But without Ghost, it is a little bit more difficult to engage into these High Templar, and MC's not even that far behind in supply now. So very, very tense game here by both players. A lot on the line as well. It's a nice confidence boost to be able to be that guy that just needs one more win.
Yeah,
as this series would push forward.
Because if you really wanted, you could just throw out the craziest of crazy in the next game, and then somehow clinch a win, and you're like, hey, wait, I'm the champion.
Well, we are going to see a Warp Prism on the right-hand side, so MC is going to be the first to move out a little bit here. There is a Widow Mine, which is going to hit but not kill.
Yeah, of course.
Marines. Oh! They shouldn't have really killed that.
They were out on the left-hand side, out of the range of that, so very, very good setup there from MMA for the defense.
He's got his units on the high ground here. He did scan perfectly on top of NC's army. A little bit of a mishap that he lost that Warp Prism with the units in. Second Robo, second Forge coming in for MC, so we'll go to double Colossus production and double upgrade to go 3-3. But I'm starting to feel that MMA is going to be the next player to attack. He is very comfortably high in supply. He's got a good army composition with 2-2 upgrades now, which is nice. MC is trailing in his upgrades by 1. He's missing an attack upgrade compared to MMA.
And I think the power of the production that we see from MMA on the flip side, which is very, very potent here, is the fact that he's cranking out 5 ghosts at a time if he wants to, which makes the windows very, very strong.
There's also Cloak finishing up. There is not an Observer with the army that MC has currently. There's one behind on top of the Ghost, but there isn't another one. He's focused on his Colossus production and has forgot about it. A slight mistake, which could mean that MMA would get the best possible engagement he wants.
Yeah, if you allow those Ghosts to cloak up and just reign free throughout that entire fight, it's really, really scary. Times tries to blink forward.
He cloaks up now. He's got Cloak.
Yeah.
This is a little bit scary here for MC.
Slight deterring storm in the middle of the map, but MC's not really willing to fight just yet.
MMA, they're kind of sitting out flat, awaiting MC with his aggressive nature to charge in there. Would take a beautiful fight. He scans. Has a look. There's the Ghost moving forward.
One Observer now coming back to actually look at this army.
A little bit too late though. Ghosts are cloaked up. They're going to move in. The Observer's behind.
It's nowhere near. Actually, nowhere near this.
Oh, where's the EMPs? Oh, beautiful, beautiful EMPs there.
Gets a lot of that army. Needs to get a little bit more. There's 1 or 2 storms left in this army here that are just about to recharge on these High Templars. They do hit a lot of those Vikings. Brings down those numbers, could be good. And the Bio now stims up to try and greet a lot of this. But the Vikings have done their job. The High Templars from the south come along, get a lot of storms across the entire of MMA's army.
But beautiful flank from MC. Coming from that left-hand side, MMA wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
MC wins another convincing fight like we saw in the previous game. And this time, he does not want to be letting this one slip.
No, he does not. 50 supply up right now is our Protoss looking for blood. The resources lost very much in favor of MC, who really now needs to find some kind of killing blow, but also doesn't want to overextend and kill himself off. That's normally been, you know, what we see in terms of if MMA was to, MC was to end up losing something like this.
Well, he's going to go for the kill again, but this time he's got to hope that MMA stays dead. We saw what happened previous, but MC with a very, very nice lead here. He falls back, Kalaris. He doesn't want to fight in a difficult position. He's got 3-3 on the way. He's got a lot of Colossus.
Yeah.
MMA will be able to rebuild back up, though.
I think if he waits for like 4 Colossi and then goes, he'll be maxed out, he'll be accruing a bit of a bank, and he'll have a superior army. I mean, warping in just maybe a few more High Templars with that, a little bit of a sprinkling, they'll have time to gather up the energy, and then the AoE power behind MC's army is going to be amazing.
I mean, when your Ghosts and Viking get reset like that, it is very difficult, and it takes a long time to rebuild to the correct number, especially because you're not exactly sure what MC's adding on to complement his army, which we see is a lot of Colossus.
And you're always so gas-starved in this position as a Terran as well, because it's not like as much of a focus as it is for the Protoss on the other side of the map.
And because MC didn't really lose that, well, he did lose a lot, but he was obviously at 200 supply for a lot longer. He's now starting to bank, which is really going to help his reinforcements.
Yeah, all the gas now being pumped into Vikings as well as Ghosts. He has to. There's no other alternative here for him. Nice try and attempt to poke a prod on the right and left as MC tries to be, well, MMA tries to draw his opponent thin. But the army for MC, the quality of it all in this bulk is very, very strong, very potent.
Well, we're going to see an attack here from MC, maybe. He's having to deal with 2 fronts. Of course, there is this side of army from MMA trying to break down this south location.
Dark Shrine in 3-3 now, about to finish up, though, here for MC.
Yep.
Only 3-2 so far for MMA. He didn't start his +3 armor. It doesn't make a massive amount of difference against things like Zealots, for example, and the big high damage of like Colossi. But
I mean, let's just say, if Zealots are on top of your army where they'd probably be, the army would be the most useful, you've already lost the game.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't want the Zealots on top of your army.
No, no, no. How many Ghosts do we have out now? A nuke is in production, Sean.
Well. Let's find out if that can be useful here, because MC is looking to win this game. He's looking to finish it off. He's taking his sweet time this time and is not looking to let this one go.
And compared to the previous engagement, there's now 4 observers out on the map, so it's a little bit easier to deal with those ghosts if they're going to cloak up and really be annoying.
Well, this game's going to go on for a little bit longer here. Lucky for MC, or fortunate, or unlucky for me, whichever one you look at it, is that his hidden base, which would have been quite useful, has been spotted. But look at MC's bank. It's really starting to climb. He's been at 200 supply for a long time in this game. He can start throwing DTs around now as well for these expansions.
Still got to be careful, though, in MC's shoes.
Nice defense there. It builds us an emergency, well, great defense until the repairs on the bunker weren't there.
Push forwards, few storms to ward this off for a second. Actually going to kill off the majority of these cannons, push through there, kill off this Archon as well. So, now, wow, those Zealots did a lot of damage to the mineral line. He's going to try and bring down this Nexus. The army of the Protoss is very, very clumped up in this mineral line. Maybe you can get a few EMPs off on this. But the Ghosts, they try and cloak up, but they're still revealed anyway. He did get a few EMPs off on that army, but storms are still available to him. A lot of storms, saying, Vikings, you probably don't want to enter this territory.
Well, they're going to try again. MMA knows he's behind. He has to make some magic happen here.
Another fight once again. He gets the Nexus. That does cripple a little bit of MC's economy, but he has a bank behind this. So any trade that MMA wants to actually go for here is not going to be as effective. MC is still playing out this game very strongly, and he could go for a fight. Catches more Vikings with those storms.
MMA is going to retreat to the Planetary Fortress for a support here. I'm not too sure how well this is going to work out, Claris. MC's army is rather strong.
Not too bad an angle, will catch one of those Colossi, but still Storms raining down. He realizes Widow Mines are in that choke point, now moves forwards once those are down. After the Storms kill them off, he still has a few more in support of this. And this army, again, the quality and wealth of it here for MC is just a little bit too strong. More Storms hit that bio at the back. MMA is reeling here. The Vikings trying to do the job on this left flank as well. A little bit of bio coming from the round on the assess side. Then now it's going to be only Archons, but still the supply advantage here for MC if he's able to reinforce with that bank he had. And that's the big thing. That bank has carried MC through all of these engagements and is really bringing it to MMA.
MC's not going to let MMA have this one, not after the last game. A massive supply difference between the both players. Here comes some more reinforcements with double Colossus on the way. He's heard his opponent's production and income, and this is securing the victory. Yeah. He can charge up now. It's not a bad thing to do at this point when you're this far ahead, and MMA grasping at straws that isn't going to get anything.
MC may have overextended in the previous game, but there's no overextension here. His army is just too superior, too vast in supply. 126 army supply, almost 100 up against the Terran now, who MMA, he's looking for a way back in, but I'm sorry, my friend, it's going to take an absolute miracle to really... That's one miracle, that's a lot of mules, but maybe not enough.
It's not enough from this point on. There's nothing stopping MC taking another base to the bottom left here. There's nothing stopping him from rebanking. Now he's back at 200 supply. He's in a very, very powerful position. If MC was to lose this game, Kalaris, maybe MMA will make him retire.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you eat a hat, but yeah, so... Oh, nice EMP on a little bit of that army, but didn't catch too many of those High Templars. And again, MC now has full control of the map. Aside from that drop down at the bottom right, that's the last-ditch effort here of MMA to try and keep himself in this. But even defensive Storms, defensive cannons with this Colossus, as long as he just walks up onto the high ground, doesn't land the Storms, but he's completely ravaging his opponent's infrastructure.
MC's charging into the production facilities, and from this point there can be no comeback if you cannot build an army to do so. MMA with some cute micro on the other side of the map, but it's not going to stop this from happening. This is Protoss, and this is an absolute annihilation. A very good game from MC. GG.
An extermination 3-2 now to the Boss Toss, who is one game away, all importantly, from him taking his first place after
in a
2
long
years.
time. And he is taking another break now. He took a break after the first 3 games. He's now taking another break as we move on from this point. And now MMA needs to win the next 2 games in a row. And the best part of all of this, if you look at MC, yes, MC's been using hyper-aggressive strategies, but the last 2 games he has played and almost should have won both. He's played them quite long. They've obviously been dragged out a lot, and MMA still isn't winning. And as we mentioned from the start, MMA would find himself in a more comfortable position past the 15-minute mark. Both those games were, and MC really should have won both, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if Game 4 had gone the way MC would have liked it to, we could have been crowning our champion already. We could have been crowning our champion. MMA has got quite lucky right now. Despite him being only 1 game away from complete defeat, he got quite lucky in that. MC basically kind of gifted him that one, wrapped it up with a little bow. So now, but it is 3-2. It is 3-2.
Well, the next map that we will be going over to is Polar Night, a smaller 2-player map here for both of these guys to load into. And MMA, I think, was quoted throughout the last couple of days saying, usually I just kind of look at Polar Night and be like, yeah, I'm going to lose on it, and I'll just see how it goes. If he has that mentality, then he's actually going to finish in 2nd place. So this is a pretty big map for him, considering it's not his favorite. He has to dig deep here. Otherwise, as you say, we could be having MC champion.
Yeah, and that'd be pretty crazy. But now, before we get into our 6th map, let's head over to Red Eye.
Thank you very much, chaps. Yes, very tense out here in the studio, I can tell you. Cut the tension with a knife right now. It's very, very tense. And that last map kind of epitomised everything about the match so far. It was very tense, very slow, very methodical. A very different looking MC, I have to say. He was very patient, didn't go rushing in, didn't become aggressive when he didn't need to be. And now he leads 3-2. We head into Polar, which MMA absolutely hates.
For me, the last 2 games were completely different than the rest. You know, MC usually picks a build and he goes with it, but now he went into micro games versus MMA. that's so solid in them. And I think MC was supposed to win on Yonsu. That big attack that he went for where he lost everything. And as opposed to it, I think MMA should have won there with that huge attack again, the force base of MC. Those Templars coming out of nowhere and storming him. This is unusual. Usually when a Terran engages like this and starts winning the fight, he's like, wait a minute, this is feeling a little bit too easy. You scan below your army, you make sure this is not happening, and then you win. But now, they just went 1-1 in macro games, in 2 games that should have maybe gone the other way. You have to wonder, how is the next map going to play out? MC yesterday mentioned that we were going to see some big heads and some all-in on 2 bases with them. I'm talking about the Colossi, of course. We didn't see that. Maybe it happens in the next map. And as you said, MMA not really being a big fan of that map could play a role too here.
Yeah, it's weird, very strange map for him. He often says that if he could get the chance to veto 2, he'd definitely take it out, but he can't, so he's got to face it, and he's got to face it at match point, at championship point as well. It's going to be really tough. And do you think after that long macro game, where we've not seen a Protoss since the round of 32 go 25 minutes into a game and win, so that's a first, and yet I guess you could probably say if anyone can do it, MC can do it, right?
You know, San, he had some decently long games and he won some of them, not that long of games in the one the one that went to the very late game, he lost them. But yeah, MC has really been showing us in particular how to take good engagements in the late game, which can be so hard versus Terran. And one of the main things about his play right now, which really shows he's in good shape, he's using so many control groups for his units, which you can't see on stream, but I'm watching the game backstage, and he puts his Stalkers in 1, the rest of his army in 2, and his Templars in 3, which that's very, very hard to do, especially for a Protoss. I mean, that's one control group, man. It's very hard to get away from.
It absolutely is. The interesting thing in that last match was his flank was a sick flank. It really was. I mean, as a Terran player, when you see stuff like that, it scares the living daylights out of you. MMA, I think he actually said it and just went, what the hell? Where'd they come from?
Yeah, you know, it was a bit weird that he didn't see it coming a little bit more, because I was basically preparing some analysis in my head at this time, and I was watching the game with MMA's vision. He had the watchtower, he scanned forward a little bit below, and then he saw most of the army of MC, and he was like, let's go for it, I have enough. He started EMPing, the fight was going well for him. He basically sniped half of the army of MC almost instantly. But then this army comes out of the shadows, out of the bushes, you know, that are down there, and storms everything. And he's like, oh my God, like, how did you not see this coming? Everything was going so well for him. So one mistake at this level like this can cost you the game. And this is what happened here. Just like how MC attacked on Yonsu, he was so confident that he had it. He just moved in there. He tried to move his Zealots and Templars in better positions to try and get some storms. But Apollo pointed out, the Colossi, they were attacking buildings on Yonsu. You don't want that to happen. And so some mistakes being made here and there, but I think what you should really focus on is how well overall they've been playing with all the drops, all the harassments. Those last 2 games, I think they've been my favorite so far from this tournament. That's how good they have been.
Yeah, I think as a final, we couldn't have asked for anything better, really, and we've still potentially got 2 more maps to go. I can see MC's just sat back down, so MMA not far away from returning from his break as well. From MMA's point of view now, heading into Polar, which he doesn't like, we already know that, and now he's playing a player who can do almost anything. That's got to be scary right now, sitting 3-2 down, right? Because he knows that MC could come up with something a bit fun.
Yeah, the thing is, MMA has made a massive adjustment to his builds, which I've really noticed in the last few games in particular, where if you will play against a standard player, you will see him open with maybe a factory, but then get a quick starport and then add on additional barracks. But against MC, he's playing kind of scared. He's getting a factory early on to get some Widow Mines to make sure he's safe against Oracle, make sure he's safe against some early blink play without detection. And then he has 2 more barracks, which usually you never see. Usually when you get a factory, you're always going to a starport behind it. So MMA, he has adjusted his build completely to what MC was doing. And one of those builds that MC did, not particularly intentionally, I think, to counter that on Daedalus, was the Oracle into Blink play, which Blink counters Marines plus Widow Mines pretty hard. If you don't have Marauders, if you don't have tanks, it's going to be really tough. So if on Polar we were again to see some Blink play out of MC, which is likely, or even that Colossus build, that Colossus build versus what MMA has been doing, I think will be great. I think MMA is going to be in trouble if he goes for the same thing and MC gets fortunate or realizes what he's up against.
Okay, thanks, Todd. It's time to head back to the commentary team. I can tell you, I've got goosebumps all over my neck right now. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to find out whether MC can finally break the voodoo of the WCS Europe Grand Final. His 3rd consecutive final. He's one map away from claiming that first championship in 685 days. Let's head back to the commentary team, Kalaris and Apollo.
Game number 6 will determine if MMA can tie up the series or if MC is crowned victorious for the first time, and as Paul said, so long.
That's what both players will be thinking right now. This is a massive game we're about to load into. Absolutely huge. The start is important. The midsection of the series is important. This is the last stretch now for both players. MC, as mentioned, is a long time from grabbing a trophy and saying that he's the one. He's recently always been the second one. This guy stopped him last time. MMA needs a victory to go to 7 maps. Otherwise, it will be the boss toss who walks away with the trophy from the Europe Premier League.
And just before, I mean, we saw the concentration on MC's face here. This means a hell of a lot to him. He knows how important this is. One game away from being crowned a champion after so long. Polar Night is our next map between these two guys. MMA, though, likewise, always a scary individual. He showed his quality against Protoss yesterday in a player like San, currently ranked #1 in WCS. Can he show it once again here against MC, as we have spawning down to the bottom as our red Terran representing Team Acer? It is MMA. And up to the north as our blue Protoss, representing Global Esports Management, one game away from the World Championship Series Europe title. It is MC.
As much as StarCraft is a game, this is the real deal. There is no room for error. There's no messing around. This is really all about a first place and a second place finish. We saw that from MC in that last game. He's in an advantageous position. Usually, like we saw the game prior, he attacks, he tries to kill to end the game as fast as possible. No, that was bad, because we saw what happened. He gave MMA an option to crawl back. In the previous game, he played it out slower, fell back, took his advantage and threw it elsewhere. Instead of attacking with the advantage he had, expanded, rebuilt, secured his expansions, took away MMAs. But loaded into this one, we have a fast probe scout from MC, who is going inside his opponent's base and will get absolutely 100% information on what MMA is doing once again, which is the same opening again.
A little bit of a poke from the SCV as it walks past, but aside from that, the SCV is also likewise heading over the other side of the map to see exactly what's going on in MC's base, really looking to hone down on the very important aspect of, do you have a second gas here as he moves over there. As the Reaper's going to head off as well. Zealot starts, so technically, if that does get cancelled, an engineering blade block could help out in the situation, especially with the Reaper there.
Yeah, if you wanted to delay that. Against MC could be very dangerous, as you'd may push him into a one-base attack, which you might not want to deal with. So sometimes, even though it may seem the right idea, I'd probably just be okay. MC, you take that Expo. You open up Nexus first, I'm fine with that. Reactor is going to come down here, and the Reaper is out. The Zealot should be cancelled, and the Nexus should be placed down here. So it all comes down to, and at this point, is what's going on inside their heads. What strategy is it going to be? Are we going to see, as Todd was mentioning, a potential Colossus all-in from MC? Is going to want to drag this game out long? It's not the best of maps for Protoss against Terran. The spread out 3 bases, being able to defend far inside your main, and then being able to defend against your third, it's not easy.
Wow, look
Barracks
at this.
play coming out here from MMA instead of Factory.
Ah, if MC were to able to, like, identify what was going on here.
No way possible. Reaper's back at home.
So
no way to get in to see what's happening here. It's 3 barracks opening. And we have a lot of chrono boost saved up right now for MC. Okay. And it goes into the Nexus. That's always nice and comforting to see, that we aren't going to see super high progression. Twilight Council is thrown down, though, at the back here. Does this Reaper get it?
Oh, it's pretty fast. Pretty fast.
Yeah, before that second Stalker, remember on Yonsu? It was after.
Yeah.
This is before.
So MMA though, I feel with the 3 barracks opener, if we see MC wanting to get aggressive with something like that, I think that the 3 barracks opener is a pretty good choice from him here, man.
Yeah, he doesn't have Widowmine protection, but he does have a faster stim upgrade coming in, so it depends on when the aggression hits. If it's longer, then it's better for MMA. If it's a more rushed out attack, then it could be worse, technically, because then you don't have Widowmines and you don't have stim. So it really depends on the type of build that MC goes for. Reaper's denied. No information.
Blink's so fast. Blink is so fast, and Chrono Boost is going to be spent straight into that. This could get scary here for MMA. Very, very scary.
MMA has no idea what's going on. Moving across the map is very scary as well, Kalaris. Considering the Blink upgrade timing here, if he was to go far. The extra gateway's coming in. A scan. Spots it. Spots it. So sees the gateway, sees the Twilight Council, and now immediately knows what's going on. He's... Ooh.
No.
And he's going to catch one Stalker.
Nice.
Nice start there for MMA in his defense against this. But it's not over yet. He's going to move forward to this left side Naga Tower.
MMA knows his opponent so well. He knows that even with MC doing things behind this, he will always poke out first with those Stalkers, see what he can actually spot at the front.
And already a switch up from MC. Throws down double gases and a Forge. This is not a Forge for a cannon. That's a lot of units and a Marauder out, which means there isn't a factory, which means the Forge is for upgrades. This will not continue on from MC. He's backing off. And the game moves on from this point.
Yeah, he knows how slowed down his opponent is in terms of tech. I mean, as long as he defends his natural at the front, it's very rare that you're going to have that starport out in time to really threaten with those medevacs properly against the setup from MC.
All right, pylons on the left-hand side coming down for MC. Not really sure what these mean. Could be for just later on, could be spawning drops, could be used as more aggressive warpins coming around this left-hand side, depends on how many he makes. Another scan from MMA, checks out the natural, spots the gases being taken already.
Spots the lack of units there as well, so it's like, where are they?
But he saw the in the middle and then also saw them moving back, so he just moves out with his Marines. May go in again at a different time. Of course, Blink is done. These Marines are out there for the slaughter if MC was to find them.
Very stranded, those poor little guys. And the Stalkers are hunting them down.
Are they going to go the way?
I guess so. They need to hide in the corner, right? Oh, MMA knows. He knows that. Oh, wow.
Peekaboo nerds!
Oh, these poor little guys. And the Blink as well. They're like, well, actually, we're doing no damage. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
it's over for us.
You know, we saw MC open up and then get kind of countered and denied from his aggression, but that was a nice pickup there. A nice pickup of those units.
And, well, still keeping himself positioned in his main base with bunkers because he knows that the Blink is there, he knows that the threat of Stalkers is there, but behind all of this, MC's playing his normal game. Yeah,
he's lost units, he's down, he's seen a lot of Blink Stalkers, not messing around, going to play it a little bit safe with the bunkers here. MC is climbing up quite high with his gateway count, and we are going to see his tech structures being added on, which will allow him over towards splash damage, which will be storming this game, and also with a couple of observers sprinkled around. 5 barracks here from MMA, not messing around, doesn't want a fast third, wants the unit production over a better economy here, which against MC, it's favorable. One thing to note though, upgrades, actual upgrades, +1 attack just starting, been quite delayed, already 1 armor, done, +2 armor, on the way. Big difference.
Yeah, very big. And with the lack of any second engineering bay here for MMA, if he wants to, as I say, add on those proper armor upgrades as well behind it, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we're seeing a lack of, second engineering bays. As of late, more people are just favoring the weapons upgrades to counteract the armor, which is the normal go-to of a Protoss here.
And there's going to be a Widowmine drop, which is going to pass this pylon, which is good for MC. He can get his Blink Stalkers in position. And
drops a Widowmine first. Hi.
Might as well kill the pylon now it's been spotted. And he's going to clean up the pylon on the right-hand side. Though the probe did escape to the bottom left, so there's still an aggressive pylon out there.
It's quite a lot of gateways.
It's a lot of gateways, but his probe count's pretty high too.
Yeah.
57, very, very high for a 2-base attack, and it is quite delayed as well, so should be looking for taking a third, but as mentioned, this is a very difficult map to accomplish that. So he's going to take his slow. He's got a lot of units, doesn't want to be dropped as he's taking his thirds. He's going to build it up, play it defensive, super defensive. And that kind of works well, considering MMA didn't rush a third out and went for barracks anyway. So it's kind of high production versus high production and then later third. So it's okay.
And, you know, it's +2 armor, Storm, Immortals, Blink are all going to keep him much heavily defended across those 3 bases. The feedback as well is of the utmost importance in these kinds of defenses. So MC, once he has all those High Templars at full potency, which he now currently does, there's no huge reasons why a third base won't come down soon.
Ghost Academy going to be pretty useful against this army composition, which MC is going for again. Zealots, Immortals, and Archons, and High Templar, of course. It's not in there yet, but definitely will come out soon.
And MC claiming the base towards the middle by the looks of things. He's already thrown a pylon down there and going to clean this up.
Yeah,
so.
easy to defend in a triangular position compared to the flat line here, considering he has Blink and can go back and forth between the main and the third.
Much easier transit, you're right. Ooh, hello.
Did think about it. Did think about it.
And says, no, I'd rather go and get an ice cream. That's
still third no down. 13 minutes. Very cautious here from MC.
MMA is playing out this very Poltesque. 2 little groups on either side.
Yes, he is. This is a very, tense game because no one really wants to make a big move. Both playing very safe. Third base is going to be taken now. No real units lost if you think about it. Just a couple of resources traded between the both of them. They've still got all their money. I mean, if you think about it, those are the Marines that died earlier. There's a Reaper and the Widow Mines is very normal. So
that Observer was basically in a medevac until the point where he moved out. And does get that, which is a nice start. Sees how many... Oh, tries to poke in there. We'll try and get one of those High Templars.
Good reactions and flick back from MC. Lands a Storm and pulls a High Templar back, so units traded for nothing gained.
Very, very nice.
No Ghost Academy, just a lot of units here. A lot of units. So we're going to have to see some pretty good dancing micro come out from him if he wants to avoid these storms.
Thankfully for him, there's a lot of room around that third to actually spread out your concave.
I think what MMA might try here is come to the natural with his main force on the right-hand side, drag his opponent's army, and then try to snipe this third with these units.
That'd be nice. That'd be very nice.
He could do it both ways, though. He could drag each way. He's got these to really pull MC thin.
Pulling his heartstrings. That's what he needs to do. And there's the pull. Will this actually be effective at the natural?
Scans and MC, no reaction. Oh no, there is a reaction there from MC. 2 good storms, but good dodges as well from MMA.
And the army in the middle for MC is just dancing back and forth. This is very, very hard for him. MMA is playing out a good style so far. Really annoying him, but he didn't lose a huge amount of infrastructure at all. No Nexus gone down.
But good defense, pretty good defense there from MC. And MMA really, as you said, just pulling him apart here. But so far, so good. He's not crumbling to the pressure yet.
Oh.
This does still go down, so that is a nice win for MC.
Oh.
Big move.
Ballsy.
This, I don't think has been spotted. Looking at the army position, it hasn't really been spotted here. He's going to go all the way around to the main base. Drop in. Blow stuff up.
That sounds like a great tactic.
That's a pretty good bloody tactic.
Yeah.
You just got to be careful of storms that should or could be around, but there isn't, so this is nice.
All right, man. Let's blow stuff up. Let's see what we can kill. There's a lot of Zealots as well as a High Templar coming back. That could be a good storm onto the top of that army if he's able to land it. And it does actually land, but at the same time in the middle of the map, pushing back this force, both very, very even in terms of supply. It catches a few pylons. Those Zealots caught up during all of this. Second and third storm do quite a lot, even catching all the medevacs on that.
MC's deflecting all this aggression.
Wow.
He's moving across the map. He's going to use his reinforcements, I think, to defend and may try and attack and break this third.
Could work. Could work.
Is he going to go? Is he going to go? He's not. He's going to pull back. Definitely an opportunity there. The army supply in favor of MC. Definitely an opportunity. But he's going to grab all units together and still may go. This has been a very good defensive game from MC. This could be an attack which gets him his tournament.
It could. That's a lot of Zealots in this army. How many High Templars does he have? He has 7 High Templars against only 2 Ghosts that are currently out and about, warping in more Zealots, looking to press this third base. If he could kill that, that would be very, very nice. Also reacting to this defense accordingly, forces the lift off, also blinks forwards with a little bit of this army. There are 2 Ghosts at the front that could have been a bit vulnerable, but Storm's on this left-hand side against a lot of MMA's army, chasing them down with High Templars, gets even more Storms. He's pushing through a lot of this bio at the front. The Zealots are not dying with the armor upgrades and blinks on forwards. This could be it for MC. This could be his tournament after so long.
I think it's going to be. He's shown diversity in this series, in this grand finals, from aggression to defense, and has played it out well, and is knocking on the front door. He's knocking for that trophy.
Wow, he's actually going to be able to bust down the front of the natural. He's not only being able to secure this championship if he can do it, but he'll also get revenge on MMA from the previous series in WCS. GG! Oh my god, MC, after 2 years, is able to take a first place and is our WCS Europe champion.
And he's happy about that. It's been a long time since MC's actually been called a champion here. 685 days, I think, Red, I said it was exactly. A long, long time for a player who, if we think about it, last year said he was struggling, but he wanted a win this year, and he tried for the last couple of seasons, and now he's got it.
We've got to hear from him. We've got to hear from Apollo. Here is MMA, our second place finisher. But guys, let's head over to Red Eye to hear from our champion, MC.
Thank you, guys. MC, just how good does that feel right now?
Just, yes, I'm really happy, and it's maybe I'm never forget this time.
I think that's a great way to sum it up. When that last attack came and he lost a lot of units in your base, did you start to think, this is my championship now?
Just after this, his Marauder and Widowmine and Marines in center, they dead in my 4th storm. So that time I finally I'm get WCS champion. So yeah, I was really happy.
Okay. New car, new house? What are you buying?
Huh?
New car or new house? Do you want a car or house? What are you going to buy with the money?
Maybe just take in bank. And my mom want making some business, so maybe my mom take it.
Okay, seems like the boss toss is back, but his mum's still in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, MC. Okay. Time now to make some presentations, and to help us make those presentations, I'm pleased to say that we have the Senior Esports Manager from Blizzard, Mr. Mark Alberts, with us. We also have the Product Manager for WCS, Sean, as we better know him, David Kugelman. Ladies and gentlemen, a man in second place has put up a terrific fight. He's had a very, very tough season, but has come all the way back to the grand final for the 2nd consecutive year, just coming up a little bit short in the main final. Please make some noise for your second place and the runner-up in WCS Europe Season 1 2014, Team Aces MMA. Okay. And the champion, a man who has waited 685 days for another championship. He now ties MMA on the all-time list with 6 Premier tournaments. Please make some noise for MC! So, finally, our WCS Europe champion, after 3 consecutive seasons of reaching the final, is MC. That is it for WCS Europe for Season 1. Don't forget, we'll be back with 2 more seasons in 2014. And also, don't forget, in a few minutes' time, we still have WCS America. But one last time, ladies and gentlemen, I think he might just be about to be lifted. The WCS European Champion for 2014 Season 1 is MC!